garbage. What's up, Jayden Worth?
Nothing, man.
Dude, I felt like a dick because as I'm driving up to Nanaimo a couple weeks ago, I'm thinking, man, last time I saw this guy was last summer, and I was like, dude, I'm going to bring you on the podcast. And you're like, yeah, I'm fucking in. And then that's the first thing you say to me when I see you is, thought you said I was going to be on your podcast.
Yeah. No, I hold grudges. That's who I am.
Apparently.
I'm a real good person. But,
well, you made it down. I'm glad you're here.
yeah, I drove down this morning just to watch some movie and some movie.
Some movie. We speak different up island.
Yeah. We don't get the full words, but no. Just drove all the way down here. I was a little worried. It's my first podcast that I've ever done.
Ever.
But yeah, ever. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Imagine that, a comedian who's never done a podcast. Wow.
Imagine a comedian that doesn't have a podcast. What the hell are you doing?
Exactly.
Get it started.
No, but I wish. But I drove down here. I was worried because I was like, oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna sound like. I don't usually like my recording as.
I hate the sound of my voice.
Yeah, well,
absolutely hate it.
No, but everyone says that. But when they talk, but some people have nice voices. Some people can't speak English properly.
That's true.
And so recording is rough, man. That's why that Worcestershire thing kills me. Because I'm like, I wish I could say that, man.
Worcestershire?
Yeah, that's Elmo Fudd's favorite condiment. Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Yeah. All right, Bane.
I actually did have a British roommate who told me, he's like, it's pronounced Worcester. It's Worcester. And I'm like,
oh, you can, yeah, no.
Well, and then he goes, unless you're up in the north, then it's Worcestershire. And I was like, fuck you
so
asshole.
You can't even agree on it. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. I can say it however I fucking like. It's weird, though. After I started using that bit, my buddy back home would like start sending me memes that was like, these are my last brain cells trying to pronounce Worcestershire.
Yeah,
It's like the universe, man, it's talking to you.
Yeah.
It was weird. You see it everywhere now. Or like, I actually got that idea from there was a guy at work when I used to work for the municipality. He was just walking into our like lunchroom, and he was just like, "Pass me some of that Worcestershire." And then everyone around you always has to correct you and be like, "No, it's Worcestershire, or it's Worcestershire sauce." But it's like nobody knows how to pronounce it.
Nobody knows.
It's not a fucking real word.
Yeah, and I don't know. I always feel like people do that. They're like, "No, I know enough about this. I can correct you." And then it's amazing the overlap, the Venn diagram of people that tell you how to do things and then also do them wrong.
Oh, absolutely. I'm terrible for that. I can give some really good life advice to everyone else but myself. Is it like a muse? I can give you ideas, but I can't use them for my own good.
No, you're like it's just a fortune cookie.
You should just do this. Just dump that person. Be fucking single. Enjoy your fucking life. Yeah. Everybody's just hunting for a relationship. Yeah. Not this guy. I fucking lived a single life at 37. It's easy.
Yeah.
I don't have to answer to anybody.
Oh.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Nice.
It's just, I don't know, it's convenient. Yeah, I never get touched ever, but
well,
do whatever you want, whatever you want.
So I feel like you could solve that problem. The one problem you have, it'll be okay.
I'm just lazy.
That's fair.
That's what it is.
See,
like, I'm lazy.
Here's the thing. That's not an exclude of relationships. I've been with my wife. We've been married for like 4 years now.
Pull the mic about a fist away from your mouth.
Tell me how to do my job.
Shout out to Joe Rogan and Tyler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just keep it about a fist away from your face.
I've been with my wife for like 4 years. We've been together for 9, so it's like, but I'm so lazy. It's not a relationship killer. Well, she would disagree, probably.
Well, I don't know. I'm having a real problem at this point in my life. Like, we're getting motivated to do a lot of stuff. It might just because it's been a shitty winter. And cold and rainy.
We live on the West Coast. Has it been a shitty winter?
It has. I'm landscaping now. I'm working outside. So I missed so much work in January. Oh, dude, I didn't have a full paycheck in 2 months. Like Christmas time, I got paid. There was a 3 paycheck month in January. All of them were less than they should have been.
Wow. So Jeff's got a Patreon GoFundMe going.
It's the Get Jeff Paid because he's got a few more $1,000s worth of debt fund.
Yeah.
I hate debt. It sucks. It's crushing. It's depressing.
Yeah, man. And like all the time, like when I tell people I do comedy, the first question is like that's all you do? That's your job? And I'm like, I wish, kind of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's not the worst thing ever. You pay for your beer sometimes. In the last 5 years of doing comedy, this is a sad quote. Just speaking of bummers,
Let's go down a little while.
No, but I've been doing comedies for a while, and like in the last 3 months, I got enough shows that I paid for 1 month's rent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, not as a job. Like I hope it'll be a job, but not as like a job. Because if you were like, yeah, I've been working for 3 months and I paid 3 months ago rent now, and people are like, well, you should probably get a job.
Like I'm stoked. I was doing my fourth paid show on March 26th. It's the Zingers for Zambia show at the Victoria Event Center. And I'm just stoked that I'm making like more than $20 to do this. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Like and like at some point it'd be neat, to like for this podcast to start making some money.
Yeah.
Get some sponsors on board. You just got to get minimum 1,000 downloads an episode. Yeah. It's slow going.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't think I know 1,000 people. I don't think I've seen 1,000 people like that I could, even say I might know. Math, I guess, but
think about people who have friends lists that are 2,000, 3,000 people on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you can look at them and go, how many people do you
know,
actually
man?
know?
Yeah. I think about that all the time.
I can count on two hands, like how many people in my life that I'm like in direct communication with.
Oh, you're a two-hander, huh? That must be nice.
I can count on one hand. But I only really have like a couple of really close friends that I chat with. Like I talk to my friend Tyler back home for a couple hours a week sometimes. And,
where are you from, sorry?
Brandon, Manitoba.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's where my mom's from.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. Everyone from out here is from there.
Yeah, no, that's because they grew up out there. Everyone here is like, oh, we got to find one, this rock island. It's so small. We got to go to the big city. And then everyone else is like, wait, we got to go to where it doesn't snow all the time, where life can happen.
I've seen these people who keep sending these photos. Well, I moved here, man. It was 19 degrees 19 degrees on January 19th or 18th when I pulled in. The next morning I got up, I was living in Machosen, and I walked onto the deck. It's January 19th. I just left minus 38 in Red Deer, Alberta.
Yeah.
And 48 hours later, I'm walking outside and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, man.
I can see the mountains and the ocean. Everything's green. It's warm. There's like a neighbor mowing his lawn. I'm like, what? I'm scratching my head, and my roommate comes out and goes, welcome to the West Coast. I'm like,
yeah, man.
What the fuck is this place? I'd never been here before I moved here. I just like took a job and was like, well, I'm going to Victoria. And everyone's like, oh my God, you're going to love it so much. Like, why? It's like, oh, you'll see. Nobody really told me. They're like, you'll see. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like this place, like I look like a fucking tourist my first month here. Short cargo shorts.
January, you're like, it's gonna be freezing.
Still wearing cargo shorts, like fucking flip flops. I'm like, man, this is great. People are looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, man.
Fucking tourist.
Yeah, well, I lived in Calgary for 2 years. My wife got a.
When were you living there?
I've been back on the island for a year and a half. I grew up mostly in Victoria, mostly, but. Yeah, so I've been back for a year and a half. I was just gone right after my wife finished her degree. I did not, obviously. That's why I do comedy. So
this is more fun.
But yeah, it was. But my wife got a scholarship to a school in Calgary, and I was like, yeah, why don't we go to Calgary? It'll be nice. And then everyone here was like, yo, you can't. And then when I got there, I was like, they're going to tell me all the nice things about Calgary. And they're like, why would you leave the place we all want to go?
Calgary's, it's a beautiful city in the summer.
It is.
It is. I've done mushrooms there once in the summer. Yeah. And like around that.
Haven't we all?
It's what you do when you're in Calgary. Okay, it was creepy though. So it was, I don't know, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock when buddy I hadn't seen in years is like, I got us mushrooms. We just started eating these mushrooms out of the bag. He had a half ounce. Yeah. And we're just freestyling. And all of a sudden, he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I pull the bag up. I'm like, holy shit, this wheat. Wow. I didn't think we ate that much. I'm like, we probably each eaten 6 grams. I'm like, well, fuck. And I kind of like, I think we're good, dude. And I reached in the bag and I'm like, I'll eat one more stem. So we started going for a walk. And it hit us like an hour in. He threw up on himself. Fucking, we went over the Peace Bridge, and he was like freaking out about these homeless dudes on bikes, and he started getting me freaked out. Because he's not a very big guy. He's like 5'3" and fucking 140 pounds. He's like, oh man, this guy's gonna fucking. I'm like, what are you doing? You're scaring me. So we eventually get off the Peace Bridge, and this is when Pokemon Go was big.
Okay.
So we get into this park, and by this point it's like 1 a.m, and he stops me and he goes, hey, whoa, stop. I go, what? And he goes, don't freak out right now.
That's a bad sentence to say when you're on.
Because like we're 3 hours into this fucking mushroom trip at this point.
I'm already freaking out.
And he goes, look around right now. And I'm like, okay. And I look around and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? There's like 200 people in this park at 1 a.m. and not a word is being spoken.
Oh, no.
And there's phones. Everyone has a phone in their face. And I'm like, what is going on? He's like, they're all playing Pokemon Go. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? 200 people in a park at 1 a.m. and they're sitting in circles. And I'm like, why are they sitting in circles? He goes, that's a gym. They're training their Pokemon. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Because I never played it. Yeah. I grew up before. You were probably the Pokemon era.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just before the Pokemon era. I'm not generation Pokemon.
Okay.
And
that's you're making a political party here.
Well, damn it. I am non-Pokemon.
Gen Pokego.
So it was weird to me. I'm like, what is everybody doing? And they're all just fucking swinging their arms and shit, trying to catch shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had on mushrooms. And it was made even better by the fact that there was a storm rolling into Calgary the whole time, but we never got rained on. We just got the lightning storm over the fucking city skyline. I was like, this is hilarious. I'm looking at Marco and he's like, just imagine some witch just showed up out of nowhere. She's controlling the lightning. I'm like, oh my God.
That's the nice thing about Calgary, man, is that the weather comes over the mountains and it's like, I feel like on both sides of the mountain, though, being on both sides of the Rockies, everyone goes, oh, the weather comes down the mountain. It's like, you can't go both ways, can it? I don't know.
I guess it has to. On one side, it's got to do something, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think it's just the oath is just one wind stream.
Some goes down one side. But it was, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, either way, they always say the weather's coming. And but it always just passes over Calgary sometimes and hits the west of the prairies. And Calgary's like, well, that was lucky.
Well, I lived in Medicine Hat for a couple of years, Red Deer for a couple of years, and Calgary for a few months between like 2005 and 2010 when I moved here.
Yeah. We like to call that the toll of sadness.
Man. You know what? Medicine Hat was nice because talking about weather, the Chinooks, dude. The Chinooks are fucking amazing. I took my motorcycle for a ride on Christmas Day once in short sleeves. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, man. Nosebleed City, though, for me at least.
Dry as fucking.
Yeah.
Don't scratch your nose. It happened again.
Yeah, and going from like -15 to like +12, you're like, I can't handle it. Like, I'm a feeble man.
That's how you get sick. I used to work like railroad construction when I was 19. We'd always have, it's 10 degrees hotter on the rails in the summer. So
on the rails.
On the rails, bro. We smoked so much weed at that job. Like, you smoke weed? I'm like, yeah, they're like, good. I'm like, I'm still a teenager, right? I'm young. No, I was 18 because I still lived at home.
Yeah, okay.
I moved out when I was 19. 18 years old, working with these like hardened native dudes. It was a great crew, like tons of fun. And they're like, well, we're gonna work hard, man. My first day, all we did was sledgehammer. We were doing a rail change out, just sledgehammered fucking anchors off. So you're swinging down by your feet for 12 hours straight. I woke up the next day, my alarm went off, and I was like, I couldn't fucking move a muscle. I was like, oh my God, I'm never.
How many times you hit yourself with it though? Like
none.
The hammer.
I was pretty good. We actually got to a point. So I worked for this company for 2 years. Okay. And the second year we were working up in like northern Alberta, fucking middle of nowhere for like 40 some days straight. Yeah. But there were points where you get kind of bored. Like we were spiking by hand a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was fucking slave labor.
Yeah.
But they'd be like,
no, historically it was. You just did it for money this time, which is that good.
And it was $12 an hour back then. It's like 2001.
Hey, 2001 number 12.
2000. Okay.
$12
an hour. I was pulling in like. We were working like straight through, like 42 days straight. Yeah. And you're just getting like 14-day paychecks. So it's like $2,200 at this point. But I'm young and stupid. Just drinking it all, smoking weed, and then eventually tried like cocaine. I'm like, we'll do some of that while we're fucking in this city. Yeah. It's a terrible fucking drug. Terrible drug.
Yeah, this episode is brought to you by Not Cocaine. And,
Not cocaine.
And...
This episode was brought to you by fentanyl.
Yeah, whoa.
You want to kill yourself, you get some fentanyl.
I think we're hunting for the wrong sponsors here.
That's true. Yeah. But, I haven't been back to Calgary in a while. But nowadays, like, I drove there last time. There was a heat wave. So next time I'm going to fly. And, like, they've got regular flights, but it'd be cool to get, like, on one of those, like, the jailbird flights, like that fucking prison plane in the movie Con Air. Oh, hey!
Yeah.
See?
Yowza!
How long do you think we chatted for?
Oh, God, an hour and a year.
Oh, man, if we chop off the first 2 minutes, we talk for, like, 16 and a half minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, man.
But,
I love this movie, the movie Con Air. I love it. I hate it, and I hate it for multiple reasons. One of them is that I am deathly scared of flying. So this movie is just a nightmare for me the whole way through. And for a lot of people, for different reasons.
It's an interesting flick. I still, you know what? I watched it when it first came out in '97.
Wow.
And it was so sweet. Like, because, like, action movies in the '90s, that was my era. Like, I grew up with Stallone and Schwarzenegger and all those guys. So, like, seeing this, it was like, damn, Nicolas Cage was fucking badass.
Yeah. Well,
and watching it now, I'm like, it's still good, but I'm like, God, it's so bad at the same time.
Yeah. Badass takes on a whole new meaning in that scenario.
Oh, my God. I burp sometimes on the podcast. It happens.
All right, sweet.
I love how this movie opens with a recruitment video for the U.S. Army.
Yeah, 100%. Join the army. It's like that Simpsons episode with the boy band. They're literally just like jets flying overhead, just guys shooting guns, like, yeah, Army Rangers. And then immediately after that, this guy, you see him and he gets in a fight and they're like, they ghost him even though he's a vet. So you're like, well, man.
Yeah. Thank you for your service, soldier.
Yeah, now
you are a ranger, and hold up the name. Yeah. In court, well, you're a deadly weapon, and you're a piece of shit, so go to jail for 5 years.
Yeah.
Not, hey, thank you for everything you've done for us.
Yeah.
You can get off with a light sentence. This guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And really, okay, can we go back to, so there was the fight of let's start. Oh, and the song. The song. How do I live without you? I love how they use it. And right in the beginning, the opening 3 minutes, that song plays.
Yeah.
But we're introduced. Okay, wait, hold on. Before we get started, would you like to tell the listeners what this movie is about in a nutshell?
Well, I think the movie did it 100 times. And so I think now that I've watched it multiple times, I'm fully equipped to tell you exactly second to second what this movie's about. Man, So, Nick Cage, as I like to call him, is
Old Nick.
He's
the Ghost Rider.
He's in the military. He gets on a plane, and some crazy shit happens. And I guess he's a convict. I'm bad at explaining movies. I'm a Tarantino.
I got
at
all
explaining
the
movies.
details you're gonna need. So Nick Cage gets on a plane, and something happens. I'm not 100% sure what it was. Something though.
Yeah.
Great explanation.
Yeah. No, I talk a big game, but then when it comes down to saying stuff, I'm like, wait, my brain doesn't work. No.
It happens. It's pressure, man. Yeah. It's a microphone in front of you. You're like, Well, Nicolas Cage is a convict. Goes to jail for manslaughter.
Yes,
and then
correct.
Eventually they decide to put him on a plane full of some of the most dangerous convicts in the country. Transport from one point of the country to another.
Yeah, which seems like that's a lot. Why would they fly them? They don't. It's still prisoners. They're not need to be anywhere. They're not catching a connection. You know what I mean? They can. Yeah. You could bust them. You know, that'd be less dangerous.
Could have bust them. Could have waited until the sand. Like they would have known of the sandstorm where they were landing.
For sure.
They could have been like, "Listen, there's a sandstorm. Just
spoilers.
Just ruined it. Just don't take these guys yet. Just sit on the tarmac for a while. All right,
wait
cool.
a day. They don't need any. They don't have anywhere to go, man.
No. And like, really, what are they worried about? The discomfort of these prisoners? Hey, man, don't make us wait in this bus. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
They shouldn't care. Like, you're pieces of shit. We're gonna sit in this plane for a couple hours.
For sure.
There's a sandstorm over there. Can't you hear the song?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just love how like the plane thing you see it sets the tone that the security in this movie is going to be top notch.
Yeah.
And then immediately you're like, wait, they've done so many things wrong.
These guys are horrible employees.
Yeah.
You are all fired.
That's our tax money going to, well, not ours, but somebody's tax money going to work.
So when I was a kid, and like, you learn about schoolyard fights and maybe get a couple scraps.
Yeah.
I always believed you could never use your palm to hit someone in the nose.
No, that was like the Harry Potter spell that kills people. They were, immediately as you came into school, they were like, you can't use that one though.
Crucio!
Yeah.
Cruciatus curse! You do it if you want to kill Potter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could never palm strike someone like that because
Yeah,
it
you
would
could.
kill them.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, Nicolas Cage did it in this, and he killed that guy in the
Yeah,
bar fight.
dude, it happened real quick.
I was like, damn, like I remember seeing that and going, man, you could never hit someone like that because you'll kill them.
Yeah.
Fucking movies.
Yeah, dude. Well, especially like 90s action movies. They were like, you hold that stuff you hold? Well, it's real.
Well, this guy, like the guy that he killed is a dick. Him and his friends both. Like, have you ever been in a bar and you see a girl that you like, and you're like, oh, she's kind of cute. And then her boyfriend, probably boyfriend, walks up, or husband maybe, and goes, well, maybe you haven't. You've been with your wife for 9 years. So
Yeah,
you probably
that's
haven't. But just imagine, put yourself in the shoes of someone else. Where, and like, or like, oh, she got a boyfriend. Ah, okay. Like,
Yeah.
what really compels a person to be like, fuck that piece of shit. I'm going to go over there and be a total dick to him.
Totally. And if you see the movie, it makes fun of him right at the end for being a Vietnam vet, but he's dressed in like old army clothes. You're like, what war were you from if it wasn't Vietnam?
Yeah.
Dude? He's getting mad at him because he was like, I didn't get to kill people because of you.
It's just a weird reason to get mad at someone, especially because like the guy seemed like a real American, like he supported the fucking troops.
Yeah,
And he comes up and just picks a fight with, and I would assume he probably knows like, okay, this guy's got some stripes on him. He's probably top notch Navy SEAL type Ranger guy.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck you, motherfucker, you piece of shit. I'm gonna fuck your wife. And he's like, I'd like to dance with my wife.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Who's pregnant, by the way? Again, not spoiler in the first 5 minutes. If you're just starting it, don't rewind.
but it just seems like such a dick, like total dick move. Like we need the
Yeah.
biggest piece of shit right at the start of this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
man.
I mean, and it's a movie of like a bunch of criminals, man. And then the only like person you leave away thinking like that guy is awful from beginning to the end is the guy that dies in the first 3 minutes.
He's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was an unbelievable conversation. Like most people would be like, "Ah, man, all right, I'll leave you alone. Just want to come rib you a little bit." Then they try to kill him, and then he's like, "They're like, hey, we're gonna come out and fuck you up," and she's like, "Let's just go home." He could have just got in the car and driven away, and it would have been done.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Roll
the man
credits.
broke that bottle in the very beginning of the fight scene. They weren't even fighting yet. He was like, "Hey," and he broke a bottle. So that guy wanted to get into something.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna stab someone tonight."
Yeah.
But a lot like this fight, he's a trained Army Ranger. Like he's a fucking. They said he's a deadly weapon. He's a killing machine. I love how this fight starts. He gets circled, and Buddy just like comes up, rips all of his like his fucking patches off. They kick him in the back of the knee. He doesn't defend anything.
No, I assume that's what they'd learn. Like immediately, like if somebody attacks you, like he's a professional, shouldn't he know like
should be
to
like
be fine and then until somebody attacks him?
You'd think the first guy that came up to rip it, he'd like grab his arm and snap it in half and fucking jab him in the throat.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been able to touch him.
Yeah.
So.
Hey man, it was
Where
raining. Fighting in the rain is hard, dude.
Everything's a little more slippery.
Yeah.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, stuff goes into stuff. I mean, what? Crazy stuff happens.
You've been in the rain, right? You guys been in the rain? Don't judge me.
Yeah.
All right. So he lets him beat the shit out of him. And then the old palm strike. We've talked about the judge not being lenient at all. Like, oh, you've served your country. Let's give you a little bit
Go
of
to
a
prison
break.
forever.
He's like, you are a deadly weapon. These guys were not pieces of shit. You're going to prison.
I mean, the judge's job is hard, ain't it?
I guess.
All you got to do is, I guess, be a bad person for a long time and then be better.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what the Supreme Court tells me. Just do whatever you want, then as long as you're a judge, it's fine.
Do your time.
Yeah.
So you brought up that there was so much exposition in this movie. This movie was all exposition.
God. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I would say like 3 minutes would go by before somebody was like, wait, this is what happened. Or they'd make a joke about what's gonna happen. Or like the whole first, bit of the movie after the fight scene is just him writing letters to his kid, telling him all the stuff that's gonna happen in the movie.
Here's a letter at the first year.
Yeah.
Here's a letter at the second year.
Yeah.
Here's the third letter. Bet it's been a year.
Watch me do upside down handstand push-ups for a minute.
Oh my God. There was definitely, his left leg was so fucking straight. There was definitely someone in the rafters just hauling him up on every push-up.
Getting that arm work out. Yeah. Hollywood's a rough place.
We got to do that take again. He's like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I hate you so much, Nick Cage.
Yeah. And in prison he learns Spanish. and he learns origami, and like he's just doing all these crazy things. Never uses that in the movie though. He was like, I bought this bunny for my daughter, but he didn't even like. Why didn't you put something together with origami, man?
Yeah, he could have done like some wicked origami shit for her, which would have been way more personal.
If there's a thing of Spanish origami, it's crazy, man, and he could have done that, but instead he just learned Spanish.
I loved how he was, because he's from Alabama in this movie. I loved his wall collage. Like, you remember when you were younger and you used to like just tape shit to the walls?
When I was younger, fuck.
Oh no, yeah, you are.
It's
Wait,
still
when
my.
you're like, oh, okay,
That's still my. If you walk into my den, it's just all posters.
posters tacked up, taped
Yeah.
up. Well, I love he's like 4x4 and four wheeling was on there. I can't remember what else was on there. But I was like, yeah, just Alabama roots, bro.
Yeah. Well, that accent that he has is strictly not really Alabama, for sure. I almost called it Bama. I just almost went into the accent, just like, I can do it too. I can.
Have you ever seen Fred Armisen's stand up for drummers?
Yeah, and he does it.
The accent bint.
Well, and you can name one, and he'll just do it. He did that somewhere too.
He was on. I think it was on Conan O'Brien or something. One of the late night shows where he's like, "You do an accent for me." He's like, "Yes." If you go to like Germany and go here, and he's like, "But if you go a little bit south of there," I'm like, "Wow, it's crazy."
It's crazy, man.
I love the Alabama. It's got a bit of a bouncing a baseball mitt.
Yeah.
Baseball mitt.
Yeah, that's exactly how it does
Alabama.
it. That's good. That's actually, you did a good one too. I always love accents. I wish, because like I'm a big like movie reference guy, which is why I wanted to be on this podcast.
That's what my brain is
pumped
fucking
about
for.
it.
That's
I
it.
know. And so I was like, but if I could do accents, I could do so many more better impressions. Because if you say stuff from movies without accents, we talked about this earlier. It's like you just reference a movie, just normal and plain language. People are like, "What? Are you insane?"
Yeah, you have to have the character voice on whatever you're referencing.
For sure.
Like you can't just reference Hans Moleman earlier.
And then I
today,
couldn't
like,
do the accent.
I was saying words, and that's not even close. I'm like, yeah, I'm butchering that. I want to
was pretty
learn.
good.
I want to get a really good Morgan Freeman, but it's fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
I've tried lots. I'm like,
It's what you do in your free time, just Jeff in the mirror, watching movies or trying to.
Just trying to talk like
That's
Morgan
it. That sounds like
Freeman.
Andy Samberg doing.
Yeah, see, that sounds
Morgan
like someone
Freeman.
else
Yeah.
doing Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
It's not doesn't work, because I think it would just be great. Because I had a bit idea once for or learn a David Attenborough, because like BBC documentary in a bar.
Okay, yeah.
Watch the douchebag with the button-up shirt approach the girl with the low-cut blouse.
Yeah, that's very good for sure. Yeah. That's so funny.
Fucking clubs. I haven't been to a club. And do you go clubbing? You ever been to a club?
Me? No,
Yeah,
I know
no.
it's I
Man,
can't
you're
do.
fucking married. God.
Yeah, man.
You're so young and married.
Wait, you could go to clubs being married. You do whatever
That's
you.
true, that's true.
Well, I mean, but I just don't like clubs. I don't like thumping me. I get headaches easily. I can't dance. Like I got a whole list of problems. I just end up getting drunk and being like, ugh.
You guys ever watch fucking Forensic Files? Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
But the only time I've ever been to a club is I'm out with a bunch of like construction workers. They're all like folding. We get there, and one guy falls asleep at the table, and you're like, "Hey, well, hanging out, dancing, and drinking." He's like, "Just leave me."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm
That's the only
good.
time. That's my experience at the club.
They're too loud, man. I gotta be able to talk to people. I like having conversations.
Yeah, man.
That's why I like podcasting.
Yeah,
Just chatting.
yeah, that's why I was so excited, because I was like, "Fuck!" You have to be in a room for an hour and a half, and I have a microphone. Sweet.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And there's no time limit. Okay, so they transport these prisoners on this plane, the jailbird.
Which is just already sets a tone of stupid comedy through the whole movie.
we're gonna call it the jailbird.
Isn't a jailboat somebody who runs away from prison?
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah.
So the
Why would you call it that?
exposition- I'm telling you, dude.
We got a brand new plane. We're calling it the Escapee.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Fuck.
Yeah. And the
Never even
plane
thought of
they're
that.
in is like a cargo plane. Like it looks like they just refitted it from something
That's all
else and
they
just
did.
put some cages in it. And you're like, well, this is probably going to go bad.
I don't understand why, and this is jumping ahead just a little bit, why they wouldn't have the controls. Like, if you got like staff, you have staff on that plane. Everyone's locked up to either their seats or in a cage.
Yeah.
Why don't you have the person with the controls in a fucking separate caged room?
Like locked.
Yeah.
Isn't that what a
Because-
cockpit is? Can you just, I don't think you can just get into the cockpit, can you? I mean, it's the 90s. You can do whatever you want. You can smoke on planes. I've heard.
Man, can you imagine that? Like smoking in a car, smoking in your car is one thing. Imagine being on like an airplane and people just smoking cigarettes.
Dude, I can't. Again, I told you this is why this movie's my nightmare. I'm so afraid of flying, and I was like, one of my parents, my mom used to smoke. She's quit for a long time now, which is great. But she used to smoke as a kid, and like, when I was a kid, she might have smoked.
She started smoking at
real
7.
young. They get
Give
them
me
out
a
there.
cigarette,
In
Mom.
Brandon, Manitoba, they started them young with the
Yeah,
smokes.
we do some weird shit there.
Yeah, but no. Anyways, she started smoking, but my dad, because he found me with my first cigarette, because I used to sometimes steal them from my mom, and he found my first cigarette, and he sat me down, and the show we watched was on the Discovery Channel. It was called Mayday. You heard that? You heard of that show?
Yes.
Yeah, Mayday. It's just all about planes crashing. And that was
Yes.
like my dad. My dad watched how it's made and how it's destroyed. Mayday. You know what I mean? That's all he did. And so so he showed. My dad showed me this movie as well. That's why I wanted to watch it. But he showed me this Mayday episode, and the whole thing was just a big non-smoking ad. Of just like, hey, this plane fell apart because so many people smoked in it that it like rotted out the metal. And so since then I was like, I can't fly, smoke, or do anything fun. I just have to stay in my dark room forever. I've just been
The
scared
world
of
is a
everything.
terrifying place.
Yeah, life is a spiraling abyss, my friend.
Dude, that's what people get. They watch the news so much. Like I love my mom, but she like there was a point where remember when Hawaii the volcano was erupting?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's murders and shit all around the fucking world all the time, kidnappings, whatever. But she was just watching CNN and MSNBC and just sending me like links to the volcano's been erupting for days now.
People
oh my
just
God, there's this plane crash and this happened. She's like, you can't travel anywhere right
There's
now. I'm
so
like,
much stuff going. Like all that COVID stuff is just all the news, just all
God.
fear.
Okay.
But nothing.
Are
This,
you
this whole movie's never on the news. That's what I'm saying. There's no news clip at all.
at all? Zero news coverage.
Nobody
We gotta
knows
keep
about
this
it.
quiet.
Yeah.
Wait, are you stocked up on toilet paper? Because I didn't know this was a fucking thing.
Yeah.
I ran out the other day. I went to Walmart on like a Tuesday.
So you
and-
joined the masses. You was like, I gotta go.
no.
Oh, you were just going out.
I just bought one pack. I just needed toilet paper.
I thought you were sprinting out of your door. Like I gotta get toilet
I
paper.
had no idea because I used to work in the news. I don't watch the news anymore.
yeah.
I fucking hate the news. It's depressing. It's just if it bleeds, it leads. They say. It's
Well,
just
I don't
scare
watch,
tactics.
I don't watch
shit.
the news, but I have like Facebook and shit. Man, it's
and
all constant.
Even on Facebook, it's still people just
just
filtering their
barrage, yeah.
opinions and their stories they want to fucking share with people. But I ran out of toilet paper, so I didn't know this was going on. I walk into Walmart, I'm like, what the fuck? There's like 4 packs of toilet paper left. I'm thinking, this is weird. I just grab a 24 pack, whatever, and I go home, and then like the next day I see a story like, oh, people are buying up toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like Peter Hudson up in Nanaimo was saying that they sold $30,000 worth of toilet paper in one fucking day at Costco.
yeah.
That's wild. That's a lot of. I'm like, what?
I would.
What's the point? Like, why are you stocking up on toilet paper?
Then again, that's from the Nanaimo. I live in Nanaimo. That's from the Nanaimo Costco. So that could just be a Tuesday, man. Sometimes we just go. Sometimes we don't get paid for a while. It's been 2 months. You haven't got a full paycheck, and you're like, wait, I need toilet paper, and you go out the door. That's what I'm trying to say.
You ever tried the Kirkland? I hate the Kirkland toilet paper. Like you go to someone's house and you're like, oh, this is that Costco toilet paper.
Really?
I don't like it.
I've never gone to somebody's house and been like, this toilet paper.
What?
But here's, no.
You got to judge people on their toilet paper choice.
You got, is that the thing? Is that how I
Well,
get better?
Like, let's say I buy, it's at least 2-ply soft shit, not Charmin.
Can you
but
get
Purex.
1 places?
Well, if you go to like a public toilet, like the Bay Center,
Oh, they got
and
it.
you're like, oh fuck, I got to shit.
What's
you have
that?
to wrap your hand up so much, like you got to get a good 10, 12 layers on there for it to be equal to a 2-ply.
It's like that office. It's that office
hate
reference
it.
when Mose is unraveling the toilet paper so that it's cheaper, and Dwight's just like, roll them back up, and he just looks around like, I don't even know how to do that. That's just
Splitting the ply.
yeah. You go into a Timotin and you're like, oh no, I gotta double up now.
There's nothing,
get that.
dude. There's nothing worse than not getting enough and going to wipe, and you're like, "Fuck, that hole ripped in there." God damn it! There's now poop on your finger.
Well,
somewhere.
luckily, hashtag COVID-19. I wash my hands singing, "Cry Me a River" by Justin Timberlake.
Cry, 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 cry me a river.
Yep.
Don't wanna cry no more, baby.
Yeah. So.
It's a great song. Listen to that after. Boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. Beep, beep, beep. I'm sorry. All right. So now, okay, all right, go ahead.
This movie, sorry, I just thought of this because like my whole life is just trying to make references to things because I'm like, that's funny, right? I said something we heard before. And so like I'm always trying to make references. What I love about this movie is that Con Air is its own like hype man. You know what I mean? It's his own. It's like he's a used car dealer for itself. He's just like, hey, look at this movie. This is what happened, and this is funny things from that you heard before, and somebody said it again. Like that's the whole movie.
It's borderline slapstick action.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
slapstick
riding that
action.
razor's edge.
I'm sorry. Can we look up a bunch of movies slapstick action? Because
I
that
don't
must
even know
be
if
this
that's
whole
a-
podcast.
I don't even know if that's a genre. It
Well,
might be a genre.
I'm going to be a great director of slapstick action.
The newest genre, the movie realm, slapstick action. Well, okay. Oh man, you probably haven't seen it. One of my favorite. You ever watch spoof movies?
Yeah.
Like like scary movies.
Oh,
scary
for
movies.
sure. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
have you seen National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1?
Yeah, I sure have.
Fuck yeah. That movie's so good.
It is, man.
When I used to smoke, every time I flicked a cigarette butt away, I'd just imagine it exploding.
Yeah.
Because everybody just
Yeah.
flicks it away.
Yeah.
Love when they're being tailed and they're like, oh shit, don't look. There's someone behind us and there's two guys in the back seat. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to try and lose them. All right, they're gone.
Yeah. Kenny's he is that. I mean, that whole thing. Like some of the movies are bad, some of the movies are good, like Lampoon stuff. But like Kenny, just as a opposing Doug Kenny, is just so funny. Like, well, he was, I guess. And so it's for me. I'm just like, how can you not just absolutely love shit like that? Like just making fun of stuff. It's my favorite.
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Remember, like Chris Evans had a pretty interesting start to his career because he was one of the main characters in Not Another Teen Movie, which was like one of the last really good spoof movies.
Okay.
And it's Chris Evans just being like the popular quarterback,
Yeah,
right? Like he
yeah.
walks up to a photo of himself and it's like, oh my god, it's him.
Yeah.
Turns and he's like making the same face. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh Jesus Christ, it's so good. But yeah, but they don't make good spoof movies anymore. I haven't seen one in a while anyway.
I don't know, but I feel like good. That's like that whole like anti-comedy thing of talking about like a movie like especially in movies, it's like The Room or something like that where it's so good it's bad. You know what I mean?
man.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Club Dread. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
That
I
movie's a
like Broken
classic.
Lizard.
Yeah,
I like
okay.
Broken
Yeah, of
Lizard.
course.
I like Super Troopers.
Yeah.
Super
Cool.
Troopers
Amazing.
2 was mainly
haven't seen
just, okay. I watched it in theaters. I was like, it's what I expected.
Okay.
It's a lot more focus on Farva. A lot.
no.
Farva gets a lot more stage time and he's cracking a lot more jokes.
Okay, which I don't hate. Because I'm a fan of the movie, so I understand why. But at the same time, it's like, no, I want to see snozberries and maple syrup and
Three,
yeah.
2, 1, do it.
Yeah. Oh, like the
gotta go
slide
syrup.
across the thing. He doesn't make it. Like shit like that's funny.
Nice wax job, Rook.
Yeah.
That movie still. Remember, okay, there was a bar in Medicine Hat when I was living there that when you went there on like a Friday night, they'd have 3 TV screens behind the bar.
Okay.
And they always just played Super Troopers on a loop.
Really? On all 3?
All 3 TVs. So there's music pumping, there's like a DJ playing, but Super Troopers is always playing
No
on
sound?
a continuous loop. No sound.
Wait, so on all 3 at the same time? Hopefully
Same
the
time.
same
They
time.
were synced up.
Yeah, so why
They
would
were-
that would be insane if
Yes.
they did it as
No.
a round? They started each 15 minutes
Why
after
do you
each
do
other.
this to us?
Well, it's for the people like us that forget what's going on halfway through a movie, and you can just tone one screen to
Yes.
the left, and you're like, "Oh, I get it now."
That was the scene before this. This okay, it's in chronological.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah,
But it was the coolest thing. It was the neatest thing.
that is pretty sweet.
So we get introduced to all the murderers now. I said this at one point. This is a really like Bruckheimer is great.
Yeah, and yes,
And there's a really well assembled, well edited, well shot film. It's great.
Yeah.
Like the sequencing is phenomenal. So
You
the
get-
introduction to the 3 main bad guys, the way they do that is it's so cool.
yeah. They're just literally like, you get it. Well, you're supposed to understand what they did, and they did it. And I love it because the things that come up later in the movie. Again, self-referenced in that thing where you go like Cyrus, the virus, which is sounds
Cyrus Grissom, aka Cyrus the Virus.
Which is, I feel like somebody wrote that on the script when they were like, "What's a crazy guy's name?" And they were like, "Cyrus the Virus." And they were like, "Yeah, until we get something else." And then the movie started, and they're like, "Oh wait,
It's the tentative nickname.
yeah."
Hey, what rhymes with Cyrus?
It's the woking title for the fucking thing for sure.
So you get Billy Bedlam, Cyrus the Virus, and Diamond Dog,
Yeah.
Nathan, whatever. So then, like, you get those three, and then I'm like, I thought watching it this time, I thought to myself, well, wait, how the hell do we know who all the other characters are? I actually thought that. I'm like, how do we get introduced to all the other characters?
And you know what's insane is that every time somebody meets somebody, they're just like, hey, this is me. Like when, but I also wanted to say that before we talk about all the characters individually introducing themselves specifically, that I feel like the plane also, as we go through the movie, they just keep adding people. Like when you see the screen,
oh yeah,
there's like maybe 10 comics, and then they're just like, all these people died, and all these people died, and we got these off the plane, and there's still just a full plane of people. And you're just loading about people slowly. Yeah.
Where do these people keep coming from? The bathroom's just got a portal in it.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
what's up?
Yeah.
It's just such a crazy movie.
It's insane. Well, we've been talking for like a millennium. We're just like, and you get introduced to the comics now.
This is where we start. And okay, so we meet the dickbag guard in charge.
Yeah.
And he's okay. They've just brought all of the worst onto this plane. And we didn't see that guard giving those guys any flack. Those are the guys who want to be like, you murderous, life sentence serving piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. But instead, here comes the guy that's on a accidental manslaughter charge. He's a fucking vet. He's a ranger.
Yeah. Give me your daughter's
father.
photo.
He's like, you can't have any pictures, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Get on my plane. Don't give me any
Exactly.
sass. And then like this black buddy comes up and goes, no do-rag, motherfucker. Like, wow, just drop the N-bomb, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know you want to.
And they were the ones that wanted to help him later too. He you don't see him talk shit about the bad people, and the good people gets on. He's like, you suck. So the whole time you're like, this guy's bad. But yet you like because they introduce all the comics like, hey, this guy did this awful crazy thing, but he also like wrote a book, and it's like a New York Times bestseller, and Cyrus.
They're talking
all
to
these
Denzel
people.
about the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Or like they introduce Cyrus, and they're like, he's got 2 PhDs. He really bettered himself. He's a great guy, but he likes to tell people he's killed more people than cancer. And you're like, well, that seems like your PhDs. I don't know if they mean a lot if it's right after you've killed a bunch of people.
It was an online course.
Yeah.
Like, you can just have a laptop and just figure your shit out.
Yeah.
But so we get introduced to all them. Yeah, that guard's a dick. And then, in the meantime, in all of this, we've been introduced to John Cusack's character. He's a DEA agent, or he's a U.S. Marshal working with the DEA.
Yeah.
And they apparently don't, DEA and fucking U.S. Marshals don't like each other. So they're planting an agent on the plane to keep an eye on things, because apparently it's like the first time they've done this.
Apparently, they seem like it is.
Seems like it's
John
like, this is
Cusack's he's real worried about the plane. He's like,
First
time
the
I've
maiden
seen-
voyage. Maiden voyage.
And first time I've seen John Cusack, by the way, in like was supposed to be sexy cool role, because when they do this intro, the soundtrack we're going to talk about, but when they do the intro music for Cusack, it's like the opening to Lethal Weapon, like just like and then all of a sudden it comes up and he's wearing like this '90s suit and these insane sunglasses.
2 sizes too big.
Yeah.
Thing is, it looks like he's like, I borrowed dad's suit for this shoot. I hope that's cool.
Yeah.
Mine's at the cleaners.
Yeah, he tested on his tie like sideways, like you test on a T-shirt. It's just like huge at the bottom. He looks like he's supposed to be filming some '90s business movie.
Looks like he's a 17-year-old with a fake ID trying to buy beer with his dad's suit.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how to tie ties.
Yeah.
It's the end of the work week, right? Puh.
Yeah, but the music's like, this guy's a cool guy.
Oh, the soundtrack in this movie was phenomenal. It was scored amazingly.
Yeah.
It's just so intense at points as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And not only intense, but like somebody got, you always hear those things about like people making movies that you have like, they're like, this is what you didn't know, but when they made that movie or whatever, and you go Disney, and there's like sex spilled out in Lion King. It's just wild ass shit like
there's
that.
a dildo on the Aladdin castle.
Yeah, but this guy was just like, it'd be insane if we just did wild ass songs the whole movie.
I can picture the guy hitting the synth at one point, just going, sounds so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. John Cusack, nice.
Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
I was always curious. Maybe you know this. I don't know why. You're not an expert on this, I assume. Maybe you are.
How dare you?
Yeah, I made a judgment call pretty quick. That's on me.
You're probably right.
But what do they get to choose? Like, do people score movies like after they've seen them with no music? Because that seems psychopathic. Or do they like listen to them Or do they don't want to see the movie before they do it? Do they do it to the script? Do you know? Like, I don't know.
Like movie critics? Movie critics?
No, I mean like movie composers.
Oh, they see it. Like they'll see the finished edited project.
No music. You ever watched a movie?
I would think
no
so,
music?
yeah, because that'd be so weird.
Yeah.
But like someone like John Williams has done so many fucking musical scores for films.
Yeah.
He can sit there like that. He's that kind of brain. He can watch it and go like, "Oh, I can hear this and him."
Well,
he can just envision it. I guess.
I feel like the dude that wrote the Con Air music was just wildly guessing the whole time, didn't know what was going on.
This is play this now.
Action happens again. Action again. Action.
And now, what the fuck was? I should have looked her up. I want to look her up. The name of that country singer that sang that song is like,
Oh God, I have no idea.
Trisha Yearwood or Tanya something. Not Tanya Tucker, maybe. Hold on. I was gonna talk into my phone. How do I live without you? Country song. Siri or whatever your name is. Leanne Rhymes.
Yeah, T.N. Rhymes.
It's all like some dude just doing this crazy, dark, weird composing, but then it's like we have license to use Leanne Rhymes' song twice.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's some heavy hitters in the licensing department.
They've also got
later on
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to all of our villains, and we meet the good guys.
But I feel like this movie, everyone's a good guy. Because, like, I love
no
Dave
characters
Chappelle's
I
character.
hate.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Johnny 23 is kind of a piece of shit.
Well, he's meant to be, though, I guess. Yeah.
I know, but it's not even hard to hate him. It's Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
He's pretty cool. But
is he? I don't know anything about Danny Trejo.
he's been in a lot of movies.
I know. He was in what's that Tarantino one that I always forget that he's in? It's a Tarantino double feature. I just want to know
Planet Terror?
Planet Terror, that sounds right. Because it's also Death Proof.
Death Proof and Planet Terror.
Yeah, okay. Anyways.
Those are sweet movies. Okay, so the DEA is like, we're going to plant this guy on this plane. And no weapons, no guns, guys.
Yeah.
John Cusack's like, we don't have guns. Because
Except-
guns are just going to lead to problems. And they're like, fine, I guess.
But he also says, except a small arsenal in the belly of the plane.
We had a small arsenal in the belly of the plane
And
one gun in a lockbox in the cockpit with the two pussiest fucking pilots I have ever met in my life.
Skinniest, whitest dudes that are not ready for what's about to go on.
They hear gunshots, they're like, I'm scared.
And the pilot was like, go check it out later, which is insane.
Like, no, just stay here.
I feel like that's the pilot's job, not the the co-pilot should fly the plane where the pilot deals with emergencies. But that pilot was like, I don't want to do it, go.
Yeah. You probably gonna get shot. You just go. That was a dickbag fucking pilot.
Yeah. Anyway, again, we'll get no edits out because, again, I wanted to bring up Dave Chappelle is in this movie.
He's so good.
Amazing. He's one of my favorite characters.
He's the best character in this movie by far.
No, for sure.
But, yes. So, they're planting that DEA agent. They said no weapons, so they're bringing him on. So now they put everybody on the plane. He's one of the last ones to go on. And DEA guy's like, hold on. I'll search this guy. Don't worry about it.
And again, we were made to believe the security was going to be like top notch, but then they even ran to into a line before they get on the plane. We both noticed it, but yet they were like, as he goes to plant, he's like patting down the guy, like, I can't
grabbing
see
his
anything.
hair, running his hands through his hair. Like I thought he was gonna make out with him.
Yeah,
he looked like he wanted to.
Yeah, that would have been a wild tone for that movie.
Like whoa, that's like the second take they did, but like we're not gonna use that one.
But this movie is pretty actually. As much as it's bad, it's pretty. All the criminals are pretty chill with all the other criminals, and I think that's cool.
I think it's cool, but to me, it's kind of surprising. I think. I don't know. I've never spent time in jail or prison, but I would think if...
Wait, are you a criminal that hasn't spent time? Well, you should have just said you're not a criminal.
I'm not a criminal. Just edit that out. I'm not a criminal.
Looking for sponsors. Not a criminal.
Not a criminal. I don't know. I would just think like if you're a bunch of crazy fucking serial killer, murderers, rapists, whatever, you're not going to want to be friends with each other.
Never.
Like it's going to be some sort of like, fuck you, I'm the alpha. Fuck you, I'm the alpha. And then they just kill each other.
But weirdly enough, they were really High School Musical ballad, just all in this together. Just like, well, here we go.
I think in the extended version, they actually have a dance number.
Of course they would.
We're flying away.
Yeah. Any movie that has Steve Buscemi in it, he insists, as a contractual obligation, that they have to have a dance number.
This has to be a musical. Can't do a Buscemi impression. It's another impression I can't do.
I don't think Steve Buscemi can do it. Buscemi impression.
He's such a weird looking dude.
Oh, I love him.
Okay, so this dude plants a gun on his DEA agent, and we're both kind of laughing that it's so fucking blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
There's 5 other soldiers standing around, or 5 cops standing around them, and staring at him, basically, watching him do this. No one's going like, hey, why did he do that?
Did you find something on his shoe?
Yeah.
He's
Was,
like, no.
was that gun on his sock the whole time? Did you pull it out? Oh,
Yeah.
shit, a gun. Better put that back.
How did you get this? Woohoo!
So that was a bit weird. Then we meet,
Yeah, it was.
then we meet Johnny 23. Oh my God. So I loved this. I loved how every time you met a character, he was like, yeah, they call me this because I did that. So now you know who I am. Back to you, friend.
It's like a camp where you're like a day camp where you went to as kids and they're like, everybody say their name and one thing about them. They've been doing anger management in prison so long that they're like, my name's Johnny 23 and I did this, and
I'm Johnny 23 and I rape. Back to you. It's your turn.
back to you, man.
What was fucking Chappelle's character's name?
Was it? I thought it was Pinball or something.
Pinball.
Like that. Pinball.
Yes. I'm Pinball and I'm armed robbery.
Yeah.
And I got caught.
Yeah.
I like doing this and doing this. I just got caught.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Well, like, I don't understand. Why would they transport like low risk, low danger prisoners with like the worst of the worst?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a logical choice to me. Like,
I'm gonna go back to the whole thing that they stuffed them all in a tuna can plane, so I feel like they won't really think it straight in the beginning. Like they were just like, money's not, which is crazy because it seems like they did it the cheapest. They were like, we'll put everyone on one plane, like a family buying a Delta Airlines flight. But then they were just like, but we can still scramble the jets. Like
someone that wrote the budget was like, listen, I budgeted for 2 planes, but we can cram them all on one and pocket the money for the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sign here. Yeah. We're good to go. So Johnny 23, so much expo. Oh, now it's breakout time.
Oh,
because
here we go.
Cyrus the Virus calls over the stewardess. What's the in-flight meal today? Yeah. Oh, it's
not. They don't have stewardesses on the plane. By the way, that's just a joke. This whole movie is just prisoners and guards making fun of each other, which I love.
The burly guard tells him, "Oh, it's I'm never gonna make love to a woman on the beach again." Followed up by "No steak for me ever."
Yeah.
I'll have that.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, thanks." Gives him the most creepy smile.
Which I love this because at first you're just like, oh, that was a funny kind of comedy part. But then as soon as he does this, he starts doing some nefarious picking of his hand and you start like, oh, and the music, you don't really know what's going on. You're like, oh, this guy has a bad blister. But then all of a sudden,
and then giving you theme music.
And then Pinball, Dave Chappelle starts going and starts like pulling a thing out of his mouth, and all the guys around him are like, "What are you doing?" And his reaction, it's just a Dave Chappelle sketch. He goes, "Shh," and it's insane.
This is with the most innocent, like, "Come on, man, don't."
Yeah,
sort of like, just don't.
Please, I need another hit.
He's sitting next to the native dude, and he's like, "Sorry about this, Chief. If you make it out."
I hope you don't hold any grudges.
Squirts. Okay. If I'm sitting on a plane, some dude sitting next to me starts squirting some shit on me.
And it smells. It would smell. It's gasoline.
You'd be
Is
like,
what it is.
This is a fuel of some sort.
Yeah.
And he just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And he strikes the match like, just go.
Yeah.
But blow it out.
Yeah.
You know there's gasoline on you. You're like, oh shit. Put 2 and 2 together, Kimosabe, and just blow it out.
Yeah.
Fuck.
There was like so many times in this movie that you were like, if one little thing went wrong, none of this would have happened.
If in reality that facepalm hadn't killed that guy, there wouldn't even be a movie.
Yeah.
It would be starring someone else, not Nicolas Cage.
Well, I think they would have still got Cage to do it.
Who else could have played Cameron Poe?
97.
97.
When the movie came out. So
Bruce Willis.
I could have done it. I was 2 years old. I could have done it. Yeah.
Introducing a baby and John Malkovich in Con Air.
Yeah,
Baby on board.
Yeah. It's the it's Weekend at Boney's, but he's just taking care of me as a baby.
I just picture a 2-year-old just doing martial arts, beating 6 guys up at once, face palming some dude at a bar.
You think he would have to jump pretty fucking high to face palm somebody?
The story
It's not Captain Underpants.
The story would have to be exactly the same.
It would have
with
to be.
Just a 2-year-old in place of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. I think we could do that. We could film that, and there's no way they could come after us for copyright because that's insanity. That would be the same thing.
The guys, Bruckheimer's just like, this is fucking genius. Oh my god,
fucking show.
Why didn't we think of this? Start writing a sequel now.
Classic.
Cameron Poe is a baby.
It's a prequel. That's how you make all the money these days. I feel like.
How good was every bit of electric guitar in the soundtrack of this movie?
It was phenomenal.
It was just,
It was all Clapton-esque, like what the 90s was if they were doing the 70s. You know what I mean? Just like wild-ass riffs all the time.
It was, I just imagine some old, like he's on set all the time, or he's sitting there during the editing process.
Yeah.
It's some rocker dude. He's about 60. He's like, ooh, this scene needs this. And he just, boom, boom, wow. Just plays a little riff and like, wait, and then just this note. Wow.
Classic.
And he's like, no, give me my money. Imagine that was your job, just scoring the electric guitar in movies, action movies in the 90s.
It'd just be, I assume, just cocaine. I assume
cocaine and electric guitar.
Yeah.
Here's your equipment, sir. You're like, all right.
They all have 3 TVs in their office, but they're all playing Scarface. Yeah. No, and then what I love is he lights this guy on fire, and then he looks like he's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a fighter, obviously. But so they put him out, and then as they do this, they've somehow timed it perfectly, where everyone's out of their handcuffs, and he grabs the thing, and he lets all the prisoners out at once. He takes the key from the guard, because he's freaking out about the fire, and he tones one key. Again, we were told the security was going to be so good.
Top notch.
But then he tones one key and all of the prisoners goes open except for one.
This movie, at one point, I think we were about an hour in, I was like, I just have to suspend my belief 100% and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because you start ripping it apart, you're like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense either.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Come on.
Which again is, I think, why I like it, because as you watch it, you're like, yeah, they somehow started slow and convince you by telling you every 5 minutes that this happened and it's going to happen. That as you go through, you get more and more insane, ridiculous things, and they're like, but guess what? It happened, and it's gonna happen.
It's like when I quit smoking with a book. The repetition just gets in your head, and you're like, yeah, that's totally right.
Yeah.
That's what this movie does. That's why they do it.
For sure.
So like, we have to make these people believe.
And also, I think they knew their audience. I think anybody that was like, we want country music and love, but also action. They were like, they're going to be having a beer or two, and they need to figure out what's going on every 5 minutes.
Woo! Alabama! Alabama! You got to represent Alabama.
Exactly. That was their target audience. So I feel like they did a good job.
Y'all got Coors Light in this bar? You got good beer? You got Budweiser on tap?
Yeah. There was a couple things I saw in this movie that I was like, oh, that's a thing.
They said the word pigs so many times. It was almost like, we can't call them cops.
Yeah.
In the script, it's got to be pigs.
No. Yeah.
Fuck you, pig. Well, they start flying. And
the radio conversation in this movie is top notch, because you get maybe like 2 radio sequence themes, and you'd think the cops would try harder to like communicate with the plane, or like air traffic control, or somebody would be talking to him. But no, of course, it's John Cusack, the one guy that's just around. He's like, "Give me the controls. It's my plane." He says it's my plane like 800 times in this movie.
It's his plane, though.
Fair. I mean, I guess it is, and he's bad at naming planes. That's all I'm saying, Kay. I'm not judging him at all.
The jailbird.
But anyway, so they get on this microphone, and there's so many like the quips in this movie, the self-references in this movie. The idea that they're always like, anytime any convict says anything, it's supposed to be a joke. It's like it's supposed to be taken with a laugh, but you're like, I'm watching like an action movie, but then John Malkovich is just trying to make me laugh the whole time.
You kind of end up with the laugh like, ha ha.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
that, you're not like, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
you're just kind of going, ha ha.
I didn't say the references were good at all. I just said they committed to the bit of doing the references.
Oh, it was an interesting type of humor in this movie. because it wasn't like laugh out loud funny. It was like
It was all like dad action humor for sure.
that's true. It was 97, man. And the 90s. Are you ever watched any Van Damme?
Yeah, Bloodsport.
Oh, Bloodsport. It's classic.
That's the only
Bloodsport-
Van Damme I said it like
Really?
I was like I know
Like,
everything.
I know who
Bloodsport's
Van
it.
Damme is.
Yeah.
I've watched Bloodsport. That's it. He has such a library of action films. It's not even funny.
I
And,
assumed
like,
he was just like not ethnically ambiguous Stallone.
He's he's a French actor who could not mask his French accent.
His name's
to save
Jean
his life.
Claude.
Dude,
Man, of course he can.
he played Colonel Guile, the American soldier in the Street Fighter movie, which was a terrible idea to begin with. He gives a speech where he's like, "Troopers, I just received new orders." He's like super French. He's like, "I'm Colonel Guile, and we're going. They want us to go home." I'm like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" He's super French. Doesn't make any sense. He could never mask that.
French people can be American.
He has, well, maybe, I guess. But the Guile in the Street Fighter game, whenever he talked, he wasn't French. So
No.
come on.
Yeah, that's fair. But who else are you gonna? You've played Street Fighter, obviously.
Well, what I'm saying is,
Does he not look exactly the fuck like him though?
He kind of does. His hair was shorter,
Exactly.
but to me, he was just he was not a good actor.
Fair.
He could only play himself. He couldn't play. He couldn't like.
You can't call. We watched a Nicolas Cage movie. You can't call it a different actor for only being able to play himself
At
because that's
least-
Nick Cage.
At least he could put on an accent for the movie.
You do
This is Cameron Poe.
the same Arizona. The accent from Raising Arizona is just, but now it's Alabama.
Chill the lemonade, tie yellow ribbon around the old oak tree, because this boy's coming home to his ladies. Like, at least he tried. At least he tries. Van Damme
Forever.
didn't try.
Yeah.
He didn't try. Coming home forever.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, I got to pause. I really got to pee. That pee felt so good. Okay, enough about Van Damme.
Gotta get back to that.
Back to Con Air.
Real stuff.
Yeah, so the DEA guy eventually escapes, or he gets unlocked because now they've taken over the plane.
Yeah, prisoners keep prisoners' backs again. We don't know why.
Yeah.
but it happens. We've been told by this movie that that's what happens.
This is what happened. There was a scuffle. Some people got shot. Everybody got unlocked. And then the DEA agent was like, "Whoo!" And he took Pinball hostage.
Yeah.
And it was a poor choice of a human shield,
Yeah,
according
because
to John Malkovich.
yeah, because immediately John Malkovich, who is very like open and like talking about how he wants to, he's taking control of the plane. He's being very nice to everybody.
Need to adjust that up a little bit?
Yeah,
Just give that just a little spinny thing a spin, and then move it
just
up. a little.
ruining equipment.
It's okay. Everybody does it. No one understands.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Anyways, John Malkovich is like friends with everybody, but immediately if you cross, he holds grudges, obviously, just like I do. He's just like, no, I hate you immediately.
We are enemies now.
So he takes the female girl hostage and is like, I don't really care about what he says some things.
He says something along the lines of like, you shouldn't have chose a Negro crackhead or something. And he was like,
Yeah.
come on, man, that's not nice.
Yeah.
That was a horrible Chappelle. I don't know what the fuck that was.
No, that was the damn was better. The first one, I don't
It's
know.
close.
What it
The
was.
first one was just, let's just forget about that.
Yeah.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
We won't.
There's no post.
So they end up shooting. The DEA guy gets shot because he's an idiot.
Yeah, and then we get one of what my loves of this movie is that you put the three people that are in the scene in the room, and then, in my opinion, just let them scream whatever they want to, because I don't even know his name. Do you remember the DEA agent's name? The bad, like, not the one that gets killed. There's a high up DEA agent who's just an asshole, rolls up in a Corvette.
Like
I don't.
Scotty from Star Trek. He was Scotty in some Star Trek. I thought he was. He's a Scottish guy. I think.
Yeah.
He looks like he is.
He's got John C. Reilly here for sure.
He does.
He does. Thank you, me. I wrote that down. I thought of that.
Don't touch my drumstick.
Anyways, he's an asshole, and they get into this yelling match just because you're like, you got to make John Cusack look like he can, because they already made him the sex figure, so you got to make him now look, because he seems kind of not cool very quickly. My plane. So you got to be like, oh, he's cool though. He can yell too.
Yeah, he's not. They picked the wrong. Cusack wasn't the right casting choice for the
I
role,
disagree completely.
Well, he was good, But he's just like, did you ever watch, what's that? High Fidelity?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, he's the smooth talking
Yeah.
fucking, I can't believe she
It's
left
bad.
me.
It's
It's just him doing a monologue for an hour and a half, basically. I don't know.
But I understand what you're saying. I disagree. It doesn't mean I don't fully understand, and maybe you're right. But what my favorite, this is one of my favorite. There's a couple. I have a couple favorite lines that I want to accent in this, and that one of them.
You gonna say them in an accent too?
No, we've already talked about this, Jeff. No, he says, "What? You better have a goddamn plan." John Cusack says, "We're working on it." He said, "You better be working on it. This is a situation that needs to get unfucked right now."
Unfucked right now.
Yeah, and it's something that I say to my friends, and my brother says to me every time. Like, it's just something I just love that line. It's such a good line.
Unfucked. Like, when would you have to, in your real life, in your day-to-day life, when would you ever need to actually say that? Never.
Never.
The only thing I could think of, landscaping. Let's say I fuck something up, and I'm like, oh man, we got to get this wall unfucked right now.
Yeah, maybe
before this concrete hardens.
Wouldn't you just say fixed?
Yeah. I'm going to be thinking of. I'm hopefully going to drop unfucked at some point. At work would be kind of
But no, it's going to be just all I'm saying for the next 3 days.
What'd you do to the grass? I don't know. We're going to get it unfucked in like a week when it grows back. This movie was great. I wrote down naked party freaks and old umbrella drink. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have a whole thing, and I get so excited about this movie. And Jeff made fun of me for not being able to explain it, but tell me I could talk about this movie for a year. And because we get to realizing that the convicts are going to, they're not like, we have to figure out where they're going, and we figure out that they're going to the prisoner exchange in Carson City, which everyone's all upset about, because why the fuck would they take this huge cargo plane down to the ground to just exchange the prisoners and like, off we go, you let us go now, right?
It's risky. It's risky. I can understand why the prisoners are like, man, what are you doing? But then Malkovich explains it very clearly, because he's a very well-spoken gentleman who's, according to his last psych evaluation, lost his mind.
Yeah, classic. Witty dialogue. Well, witty. I don't know.
Witty's we're reaching. So it makes sense. You got to keep on schedule, make it look like there's nothing wrong. I'm like, that's what you do. And they just were lucky enough for there to be a sandstorm.
Yeah.
Down on the ground.
Before this, we also, the sandstorm is something I want to talk about, but I wrote down this name because it was so wild. Is we have so many prisoners on this plane that Dave Chappelle's carrying on a clipboard, and he's like listing off the names of the people that they need to switch the prisoners swap.
Yeah, 6 on, 6 off, 10 on.
Yeah.
Those are numbers.
And so they have to find the 6 people to get rid of and get, they're going to get 10. But when he reads the names, he's like, this is this person, this is this person, this is this person. I know them. And then he's like, but then there's these 3 people. And he says 2 names that are normal. And then he goes, and Popovich. Which is such a classic. Like, that seemed like a Dave Chappelle thing of just like, he's like, oh, can I say the word Popovich? Just because it's like, just such an insane name. And then they end up all being dead is the thing. So we never get to know who Popovich is, what he did wrong, nothing. The amount of exposition in this movie. What do you think Popovich did?
Oh, man. Popovich. He was a child molester.
What?
Yeah.
Man,
this is the worst of the worst. No, wait, hold on. He wasn't in a cage. So
Popovich, he's got what kind of name is that? Popovich.
Popovich is a Jewish name.
It's got to be a Jewish name. Yeah. So he's like a tax evasion guy. He's an accountant.
I was thinking embezzlement, but
maybe
he wouldn't be on. Well, he might be on that plane, I guess.
I guess
because we never find out what Bubba Gump did.
No, never.
He asked that off the bat. Like, do we ever know what this guy does? No, we didn't know what was he in jail for.
I've seen this movie so many times that I got to go through the roller coaster of figuring out. What? By the way, you call him Bubblegum. That's not his name.
But I know
it's
that.
Baby-O, and I think it's hilarious that you call him.
Well, the only other thing I can think of that he was in was Forrest Gump.
No, 100%. You're not wrong.
Boiled shrimp, fried shrimp, baked shrimp, shrimp kebabs, brushing the floor.
He had a good year.
My toothbrush.
When did Gump come out? It must have been around the same time.
2000, I think.
Yeah, so that's all the same time to me.
Well, it's around there. It was in your childhood.
Yeah. My youngin', back when I was a Ute.
Back when I was a youngin'.
Yeah.
What the hell am I looking up? Oh, yeah.
But, anyways, wait. Forgot what I was saying.
We were talking about 94. Forrest Gump came out. Wow.
Yeah, okay.
It was 3 years before this movie.
So Baby-O is he's diabetic alone, offhandedly, but you never know what he did, and he's dying because of his insulin thing. But I got to see Jeff go through the ride of like, I haven't seen this movie since like 98 or 97 when it came out, just to go through the roller coaster of if he dies or not, me knowing the whole time. And it was one of my favorite things about watching this movie. If you need to watch Con Air again, ever, just get Jeff to watch it with you, because it's
my God. I couldn't, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, he lives. And then, no, oh, fuck, Baby-O dies. Wait, no, Baby-O lives. Yeah. And then, no, he dies.
Everyone's sweaty in that movie, too. Everybody in this whole movie is sweaty, and he's somehow sweatier, and they're like, that's the only thing that the insulin does. He can't move, and he's sweaty, but everyone else is kind of sweaty, too. So
my blood sugar's low. I can't stop sweating.
Well, maybe that's a thing. I'm not a doctor. Don't.
Well, I don't think there was AC on that plane. It looked like it's a giant flying, like you said, tuna can.
And then again, I'm not even sure that plane had like windows that won't just open.
Were there even windows? It seemed like an open window type plane. What? I can't hear you.
Hey, wait. We figured it out how fast they were going.
They're flying at 1,000 feet.
The whole movie was so low and so slow. You could almost drive some cars higher and faster than they were going in that movie.
Like they're like, we're doing 220 miles an hour at 1,000 feet. Like they're flying by hills. Yeah. Well, but they're flying in the fucking Grand Canyon. Yeah. This doesn't make sense. So
we land in Carson City.
We do. Oh, wait, yes. Oh, yeah.
And we figure out, without any warning, there's suddenly a huge sandstorm.
Yeah. How fortuitous.
Yeah. And so it's this prisoner exchange, and the guards are everywhere. They're everywhere. And we get introduced, and I wrote this down, to Garland Green, who to me is Steve Buscemi. To me, Steve Buscemi. It's like, no, he's Steve Buscemi to everyone. Me and Stevie go way back. We do not. So,
you don't know Steve?
Anyways, so it's Steve Buscemi, but I thought of this. If you've ever seen the movie, they go in, and he's in this back of this truck, and he's on a chair, and he's all strapped in. He's got the mask on, and they connect these big, like 5-foot poles, like a Grinch scenario of just like 8 guards carrying him by these hoses. And I'm like, and he's walking, he gets up and he walks, and I was like, if he got out of that, like they all have, and the poles didn't disconnect, he could spin around and be the most mean supervillain of all time. He'd be like an octopus, but with like hammer hands instead of like weird tentacles. He'd be Doc Ock.
5-foot-long poles spinning around in a violent circle.
I want to see Steve Buscemi be a half-rate homeless Doc Ock is what I want to see. That's a whole movie.
Spider-Man. I can't. How do you do a Buscemi impression?
I think I've said this. Steve Buscemi can't do a Steve Buscemi accent.
No, you can't impersonate Buscemi.
No.
Hey, guys. I don't know why all of a sudden you sound like that weird guy from next door when you're growing up. Oh, hey, neighbor.
Really killing them today, boys.
So, yeah, they land in Carson City, and Cyrus is the one to go out dressed as the one guard that comes off this plane. I'm like, okay, that should be fishy right there. One guard comes out. Where's the rest of you?
And again, apparently there's no news, like we talked about. There's no news in this place, because apparently these people that are, again, what it seems like the first time they're ever doing a prisoner transfer, you think you'd know the people on the plane. And this guy gets off and takes off his mask and talks to the guy, just like, you won't know me, and then keeps his mask off in a sandstorm. You're like, dude, you're gonna get caught.
Just staring at stuff. It's over there. Like like you said, there's no news coverage. Here in Victoria, about 9 years ago, we had full coverage on the transport of the Yuvik rabbits to a fucking island. They're like, why is this news?
They're not on. Those rabbits aren't on that island. They're all dead.
Well, dude, we had a homeless problem, we still do, a really bad Pandora Street homeless problem. And I'm like, just fucking take the rabbits, cook them, feed them to the homeless, turn the rabbit skins into clothes.
No, we got a better idea. We're going to take all the rabbits from the island we put them on and take them to a different island and put all the homeless on the rabbit island.
Well,
you don't want to have them on the same. I guess.
See, I also thought put them on the same island and let nature sort.
No, because then you said the whole eating the rabbits thing, and I was like, man, you got to move the rabbits.
just getting ripped apart by homeless people, eating raw. It'd be terrifying.
That idea that I said to take the rabbit somewhere else is exactly why the government never spends money the right way. It's because there's dumb people like me being like, let's move the rabbits, move the homeless people onto islands.
More taxpayer money going to the transportation of the rabbits to a new island with a better view.
Yeah, man. They deserve rights, too.
Fuck these rabbits. I love how they had to use 2 keys like a nuclear launch pad to unlock Garland Green because he's 150 pounds.
Yeah, the other 5 prisoners get unlocked 1 ketone. Garland Green, 2 keys at the same time.
And you don't hear anybody go, 3, 2, 1. So are those 2 guys just kind of looking at each other going,
hey, guys, they're professionals. They know what they're doing.
We've unlocked them before. Don't worry, kid.
Besides the fact that they don't know the criminals they're transporting, they're completely inept at keeping the criminals contained, at least they're professional in their ketoning abilities, and I respect that in a person.
I guess I would think if that was my job of transporting violent criminals from one spot to another, I'd be going, okay, who are we transporting today?
Yeah.
Let's see some photos. So when Cyrus...
You think that would be mandatory?
Memorize these faces, fellas, because they're going to be on these planes. If something goes wrong, we got to know who they are. Cyrus Grissom comes out and goes, man, so sandy out here. And they're like, yeah, totally right.
Yeah.
And idiots.
Like we said, they circle the plane. I think I mentioned that. And so there's guards all the way around the plane, and Dave Chappelle squeezes through the bottom of the plane and just runs out and gets into a hangar, and he just picks up a lunchbox but he picks up the lunchbox after he left. So you think that guy decided that the main prison guard, one of the prison guards who was just walking by was like, hey guys, this is a good time to go get lunch. Join the prisoner exchange. It's like, just going to get my lunch.
Squad A, let's go. You 5, come with me. Don't worry about it. Yeah, that seemed a little ridiculous because in a sandstorm. And why? This is when logic comes in. They're already in the air. Why wouldn't they just go, hey guys, we got a sandstorm down here. Yeah. Just turn around, land till it's gone. Yeah. They've only been flying for like 30 minutes.
Yeah. This whole movie, this timeline is whack in this movie. But here's the thing is that the reason I forgot this, one of my favorite things is the reason why Pinball leaves the plane and goes and gets past all the guards is because what they've done is they've got the pilot off the plane in that prisoner exchange, and then they've got this crazy hillbilly dude. Obviously, that was what they were going for, flying the plane as a pilot, which is like, even as a criminal, I would not trust. But they're like, how are we going to not know? How they're going to not know where we are? We're on a plane. They got to track that stuff. And the guy's like, do they? And then he pulls up the transponder. He's like, if we get rid of this gun device, they can never know. And then Pinball's like, yeah. And he gets off the plane with it. And he's like, I'll go hide it in this other plane.
Oh, my God. What was the name of the pilot? Do you remember?
God, no.
I didn't catch it.
Hillbilly 1 in the credits, for sure.
Well, I wasn't even paying attention when we saw the credits.
Well, the credits started with the evil guy in the movie, technically. Like, the first half of the movie's bad guy is the first in the credits.
Hey, Bruckheimer, how do you want to organize these credits? Just do it random. It's fine. Yeah. It's not important.
Just flip around a Rolodex enough times that they
Stuntman number 1, thumbs up. Stuntman number 5, hey. I'm jumping way ahead. I'm sorry. So... They get these prisoners off. They get the new ones on. Nicolas Cage plants, because apparently the DEA agent had a tape recorder, and not just a little like micro USB style recorder.
No, this looks like a metal tin you take a sandwich in.
It looked like a Walkman. Like that's before your time. It looked like a Walkman though, like a full on cassette
I grew up
recorder.
I know what a Walkman is. Okay.
All right, good. We're on the same page. But it was a reel to reel tape recorder.
For sure.
Full on reels, like a 3-inch. It's like the thing was fucking huge.
And so they've got away with it at this point. Nobody knows that the plane is going haywire.
Yeah. So
which is insane, by the way.
Yeah, somebody would know, you'd think. But we've already talked about this stupidity of the security team. They don't know what's going on. Yeah. So they're driving away, and they've taped all the mouths of these prisoners that they're sending off, these innocent people. Yeah. They're like, we don't want them screaming. So the one guy's, and the guard on the bus is like, shut the fuck up. He's like, oh, you're going to be sorry. And he hits him, punches. I think he punched that tape recorder.
Yeah, he would know.
He just smokes the guy in the gut.
And then turns around like nothing happened and walked away.
I don't know if you've ever punched anything harder than flesh.
And as he does this, the tape recorder falls out, and then it goes into slow motion. You hear dun 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 dun, and then it slowly rolls. The tape recorder breaks perfectly, so the plastic rolls slowly out. Dun 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 dun, and hits lightly taps the guy on the back of the heel, and he goes, "What? I think we got a problem here."
And when it hits him, you hear
Yeah, like
as if the reel was still playing. Like, why?
Classic.
Fuck. We got a problem. So this is where the DEA is alerted to what's happening at car. Oh wait, no, because they've been going through. They're doing the final check on Cyrus Grissom's cell.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the guards are like, what's this stuff? And they start poking at the wall, and they rip open the wall, and they're like, oh,
classic
shit.
prison thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, apparently prisoners pick at the wall all the time, and nobody notices.
I'm just interested. My thought was like, man, how long has he been there, and who is helping him bring like mortar in there with cement and water so he could patch that fucking wall?
Yeah.
Because obviously he put the stuff in there and he patched it all up. He built a fucking bomb and put it in a lunch kit. And
Yeah,
put it in
I
there.
assume nobody checked. From what I've seen of '90s movies, prison is a lawless Mad Max area of hardened criminals and insane plots. Some of the dumbest people getting caught for some of the dumbest crimes, but yet they are insanely smart. Every single one of them, apparently.
Yeah. Like this took masonry experience. It looked like the existing wall.
Yeah.
Who fucking did that for him? Or who supplied him with that stuff? Because I do masonry work right now, and I'm like, I know there's a lot of work that goes into this. You got to get the water content right. It's not like, here's a liter of water. Here's some cement and ground.
I got
you're
some
fine.
ideas. All you got to do is make a cake that's shaped like a brick, the exact size of that brick. And apparently, again, 90s movies, every cake that gets into prison, they don't check at all. They're like, it's your birthday. You get one cake.
It's a full desert eagle buried in a cake. Yeah, it's fine. This cake's really heavy, though. What is this, like a 6.2 pound cake?
Yeah.
Weird. Imagine the guards are just like poking at the wall. What's this? And all of a sudden icing starts. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God, it's a cake.
In the wall. Oh my God, it's cake wall. Guys, get in here.
Well, you're telling me that if you're in a prison and the guards are that mean to you all the time, as I've again been told by movies, that they're not going to just take your cake?
Yeah. Give us that wall cake.
Yeah.
Why does this cake look like a piece of the wall in your cell? Don't worry about it. We're celebrating. I'm getting transferred from this cell to another cell.
And I love how you brought up how did he get all the stuff to make that wall again?
Yeah.
Because when the guard reaches down to pick it up, he goes, "This looks like cocaine." And you're like, "How would he get cocaine?" And then I was like, "How did he get building materials?" Like you just said.
How
I was
do you
like,
get
"What?"
mortar and fucking cement and God damn it, and trowels? Just cakes full of trowels. This guy gets a lot of cakes during the week.
Yeah.
So I made a note here that 50 minutes in, this is where we kind of noticed, man, they are explaining everything. Like everything has been explained. No, they've re-explained. So Nicolas Cage at this point, 50 minutes in, is re-explaining to his buddy who's now in close to a diabetic coma.
So he hasn't been involved. Baby-O is essentially dead. Bubba Gump is so Forrest Gump is explaining to Bubba, I guess, about what's going on, and he literally just explains the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
like the whole guard exchange, what happened, and then so they get out of there. The plane's taking off, but we realize Pinball is gone to go get that put down the transponder.
He's macking on that airport chick right now.
Exactly, and so he starts running, and this leads to one of my favorite callbacks. Again, these Dave Chappelle scenes in this movie are literally like mini Dave Chappelle sketches. Not as funny, obviously, but he's running along the side of the plane and he gets up to one of the windows, which would be an insane thing to do. And he looks into the window
so fast,
dude. And he looks into the window to be like, "Hey, well, I mean, we've talked about the plane speed," but he looks in the window, and goes, "Hey, man!" And it's the dude he lit on fire sitting there, and he just goes, and Dave Chappelle just finger him as he can't run with the plane anymore. It's like that's such a funny concept. Just such a bad action movie, just to be like, wait, but this is hilarious.
Well, especially because he trips and falls.
Yeah.
But somehow gets to the landing gear and halfway into the landing gear and gets crushed.
Yeah, he gets sucked up. Dave Chappelle dies in this movie.
Which is so sad. He was a great comedic part of the first hour of this movie.
He was.
But now we get to they figure out we're doing 220 miles an hour. We're supposed to be doing 220 miles an hour. We're only doing 205. We're dragging. They're like something's wrong with the landing gear. And then they send Poe down to check out the landing gear with Diamond Dog.
Yeah.
And they get down there and
they find all the weapons, which are in the belly of the plane.
Yep.
Which is already like, hey, maybe don't get worried about that one DA's pistol when you've got a small arsenal. Exact quote.
Well, I had said jokingly, I'm like, we got some grenade launchers, some RPGs, and you assumed that I knew that was coming up. And we get later, I'm like, they did have grenade launchers. Like, I thought you knew that. I'm like, I did not. I was just throwing that out there.
The whole time we were watching the movie, I would like me and Jeff would trade the next, like, if we would say a line and then it would happen 2 seconds later, and I felt like we did it the whole movie. Just we are like, this is the next line, and then they'd say it.
I'm glad you do the same thing because like there's some people that are just like, shut the fuck up, and I'm like, no, I
can't not.
I know this movie, and I need you to know that.
That was the first thing I asked you when you said like I kind of told you I was doing the podcast, but when you said I could do it, I was like, hey, do we watch the movie at the same time? Because I didn't think I'd be able to talk about a movie so long. But then you were like, you can pick the movie, and I was like, I know the movie I can talk about.
Tie a ribbon around the old oak tree
because
this guy's coming home to his ladies.
Forever.
Coming home forever. That was my response to you. Thank you, Poe.
Yeah.
You've served as, what does he say? You proved a useful mammal.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Wow. Okay, so now we are, they're in the belly of the,
they're in the belly of the plane, trying to get the landing gear up.
Because Chappelle is stuck in it.
And you see what, again, is such an unneeded scene is what happens is, Dave Chappelle's there and he's caught up in the landing gear, but they didn't do it like so that like you just saw like the side of him or something like that. You just see Dave Chappelle ashen looking, splayed out, halfway getting sucked in by the thing. It's such a like for a movie that's like not that like I guess you see some people die like gunshots and stuff like that, but you never really just see a dead person like just sprawled out on the bottom of the plane.
Yeah, you see a dude with his head shot, but he
has a bag on his head. Yeah,
and then that. In his face in a grimace, just pale grimace, just
very obviously like not a doll, but like Dave Chappelle had to lay there and make that face for a minute.
So Nick Cage writes because of course, Chappelle's wearing a white shirt, and he somehow just finds a Sharpie right there, and writes a letter to Larkin,
John Cusack.
Yes, John Cusack. What was Larkin's first name? We don't even know. He's just Larkin Cusack.
Yeah.
So he writes him a letter, and Diamond Dog's like, "Hillbilly, gotcha. Hurry up, man."
Yeah, he's just man. Again, the whole movie is just people making fun of each other. He's holding the gun. He's gotcha, man.
Hurry up, man.
And so
this next shot.
He shoves Nick Cage, Cameron Poe shoves Pinball's body through the wheels. I don't know why I'm laughing so hard as I say that.
It's hilarious.
But then again, like we've talked about, the soundtrack is phenomenal because the dude making this movie knew exactly what he was doing. Because as Dave Chappelle's body is falling through the air, you get a cut to like happy classical music going on, and then just an old couple driving, and this guy's complaining about how both always shut on his car, and I'm like, and you get the feeling that you're like, you know exactly what's gonna happen, but then just in the middle of this like action, like crime, like just crazy movie, you get this classical music and then a body falling on the sky and just a huge car accident scene, and then it cuts immediately just away back into the plane. Like it was just like just a quick 5 minutes to show you Dave Chappelle's body flying through the air.
They follow him like the whole way down. That grimace face, just like wow, okay. You have to watch it for another 30 seconds. Awesome.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in the movie.
It's so good. So now we get introduced we get to meet Garland Green. Yeah. And he starts getting all these little fucking like monologues. That's all he does is these weird short monologues, medium-length monologues. Yeah. Doesn't really converse with anyone.
He's never Steve Buscemi's whole goal in this movie is to sit and say wackadoo shit. Like that's all he does. He just sits and says insane things.
But they're so good.
They're so good.
They're so good.
I did a lot of like monologues and like acting in high school and some college stuff. Like before I started stand up, because I was like, give me a microphone. And I did monologues and like I went to my acting teacher and I was like, you have to let me do like this monologue, and this monologue, because we had to do a certain amount, like over certain time periods, or like time amounts, I guess. And I wanted to do one of Steve Buscemi's monologues from this movie, but it was too short.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because most of them, I think the longest one he gets is like maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's just a couple lines, but it's insane. You can see why he's an insane criminal.
Define irony. Bunch of idiots dancing to a song made famous by a band that died in a plane crash.
The smile he gives after that line kills me. He's so good in this movie.
Oh fuck!
Again, see, Jeff asked me to find a movie that was. Oh, you didn't really. You said I can find whatever movie I want, but I came in with the idea that it had to be bad, and so I was like, I'm gonna pick the funniest bad movie I can find.
This was a great choice, an absolute great choice. Yeah. So now we're at the point where Billy Bedlam is starting to get suspicious of Nicolas Cage and is like, I heard you were at this place.
Yeah.
But I don't know you. It's like, there was 160 cats on D Block.
Yeah,
I didn't want to know 159 of them.
You think Billy Bedlam knew how many fucking cats there were?
You know how many cats were on D Block, bro? Or North Block? I was on North Block.
Yeah, North Block.
I don't know you.
Yeah. And then immediately he was like, this many. And the guy was like, math, gotta go. And he was just like, you've outsmarted me by knowing more.
So we got Diamond Dog down in the belly of the plane still, just hanging out, I guess, going through people's shit.
Yeah.
Comes up wearing a pair of fucking the douchiest white sunglasses, like Kelowna bro fucking things I've ever seen. Yeah. And is like, oh, we got my personal stuff down in the belly. And Nick Cage is watching Billy, and he's like, shit, Billy's going to go down and sift through my stuff.
Yeah.
Because apparently they label all their boxes. Oh, no, they got to bring their own boxes. That's right.
They did bring their own
And his has the happy face on it. So he's like, better look for the one with the happy face, because it's probably that guy upstairs that I don't trust.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's like, I knew you was a punk. You've been playing us.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Put the bunny back in the box.
I said, put the bunny.
Why didn't you just put the bunny back in the box? Because they fight, and he kicks a pipe.
And it just bolts out into a projectile, straight edge, sharpest thing ever. And I'm like, planes aren't like that. You can't just go around hitting the walls of planes and pipes are
pipe broke. Yeah. This is a shitty fucking plane. I'd be terrified to be on that plane.
Yeah. So Billy Bedlam dies.
He does.
He gets dead, which you would assume would make Nick Cage go back to prison, but there's no consequences for a hero.
Mm-hmm. It's too bad.
No. Then he didn't go back to prison? No, he's a good guy, man. He's got a daughter and a wife. You're like, nah, I just wanted to see round 2 of Con Air.
Con Air 2. Well, we already talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year-old baby.
Yeah. Well, it should have been, what we should have said is Speed, like the movie Speed from the bus to like a boat, like the Simpsons reference. It should be instead of a plane, he's on a boat, for sure.
The prison boat. That'd be the safest way to take him. Yeah. This thing can handle the biggest storms you've ever seen, but not the perfect storm.
Con Yacht coming in April 17th, 2021.
This is my yacht. This is my yacht. No guns on my yacht. We have a small arsenal in the bow. And a gun taped to the steering wheel.
So we get to the point where, I don't know what we're talking about. We get to the point where we got to start.
Lerner Airfield. They're heading towards Lerner Airfield.
Middle of nowhere to refuel the plane.
They ended up, so they took off. And as they took off, Larkin is in the cell with a little cutout picture of the Last Supper, somehow deciphering this code of meet at Carson City. You're like... He knows they're going to Carson City. He's like, meet cars, meet cars, meet cars in, meet cars on, meet cars on city streets. I want a cop on every street in the city.
Yeah.
Look for a plane. So stupid.
Yeah. But anyways, they go to Lerner Airfield and they land in this middle of nowhere. They got to get gas. But what happens is one of my favorite throwaway scenes, because this movie has some insane throwaway scenes. There's one where Diamond Dog, Vig Grimes, is it Vig Grimes?
Yes, Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames.
I just remember him from that movie Baby Boy. Have you seen Baby Boy?
No.
It was like, would have been
Before my time.
Before your time. Never mind that. Continue.
Okay. So, well, shit. Oh,
sorry,
you see him
derailed you.
There's so many throwaway scenes in this movie that I love so much that are just there for comedic effect. Like one time, Ving Rhames, is getting tasered when they're trying to break out of the plane the first time, and he's getting tasered, and you just get a 3-second shot of him going like getting shocked. And then another one is another throwaway scene is that they're landing in Lone Airfield, and as they're coming down, there's a guy going the other way on the runway.
Oh, yes.
Again, one of my worst nightmares. And so they crash, and they've got to dig the plane out of the thing. And then another throwaway scene that happens is they're all trying to pull it out with big ropes and stuff, and you just get a 3-second shot of him whipping the other things, and you're like, that's an insane thing to just throw in there.
It was pointless.
No,
Put
yeah.
the whip down and help, you lazy fuck.
You're the biggest one out of all of them, dude.
Probably the strongest out of every single person there.
Yeah.
And he's just whipping them instead. I'm like, wow.
So Luggan's on their tail the whole time, though, for sure. He's heading there. I think we've messed a couple of details. This is like
We kind of did.
we've been mementoing this movie for sure. We've been loaning it as we went. Christopher
Going back
Nolan
12 minutes at a time.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, so they're crashed and they're trying to pull it out. And Nick Cage does what I think is one of the smartest, stupidest things that I've ever seen in life. Is he tries to tie the plane up with one of the ropes, and then just runs away into the thing to try and find help or insulin in a random.
He's trying to find a needle.
needle.
He needs a syringe because Buddy has his insulin, but he needs a syringe.
Yeah. So he's trying to find one, which is insane. And then you learn slowly that the criminals, the head honcho criminals, Cyrus and Diamond Dog and Dead Billy, I guess.
Dead Billy.
And also Dead Pinball. And so I guess they've just replaced them again.
They got the new guy that's
pilot,
taking them to
the
Colombia.
Southern guy,
So they got the new pilot. They got that dude, the Colombian guy, who's like, "We're meeting my friends here.
Yeah,
Trust me, they
he
will
didn't
be
have
here."
that accent at all, which I was really proud of. But he was just they cast a Colombian guy because they were like they're going to Colombia.
But he had like the most American accent ever.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
They're gonna be here. Don't worry about it. They'll be here. Trust me.
That would have been a way better character if he just spoke like Boomhauer and just.
They gonna be here. Don't dang on plane.
Anyways,
I cannot do a good boom. See, I can't do that one either.
Boomhauer's hard, man.
I like man. I'll tell you what. I sell propane and
Bobby?
propane accessories.
Bobby.
Oh.
That kid ain't right. I can't do it. See, I can't do it at all.
But Dad,
I don't know you.
give me back my purse.
Yeah, that's exactly. Okay, I can't. We can't go on a King of the Hill reference right now.
All right.
And so the convicts can't get the. We were told that we had, much like we should tell ourselves in life, we were told we had 12 minutes because the cops found out that they were in Lone Airfield.
10, 12 tops.
Yeah, 10, 12 tops. And then 30 minutes of movie happens.
Yep.
And it's pretty much minute for minute. One of my favorite lines happens in that you figure out that because Cameron Poe's out trying to find a needle, and then he realizes that they are trying to leave everyone. Like the main guys, that's what I was saying. The main guys are trying to leave without them in a smaller plane.
Yeah, because he runs into the guys that are going to pick up Cyrus and not even Diamond Dog. I think just Cyrus because he was like, "That's my
and the
fucking
Colombian
plane."
dude, yeah.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, the Colombian dude tries to double cross them, and but it leads to one of my favorite things is that they try and take off without Cyrus, and something happens. The plane crashes. The little plane, not the big plane.
This is after Larkin. So Nicolas Cage, Cameron Poe.
Yeah, this is a huge part of the movie.
Beats up the Colombian guys, and then he's face to face with Larkin.
Yeah.
And Larkin's like, "You're Cameron Poe, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm Larkin." Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can I put the gun down? Do whatever you want."
Yeah.
There's only 2 people I trust, and you're not one of them. I'm the other one.
Yeah.
So they have a little chit chat, and then so there's still the pilot's still alive. He didn't get beat up by Cameron Poe. So he's like, "I gotta go."
Cameron Poe beats up more people in this movie too.
Oh, yeah.
He kicks the shit out of a decent amount of people for being like rehabilitated.
A couple of convicts, a couple of Colombians.
Yeah.
But he's like, "I gotta go help my friends." So he's like, "Okay, well, I'll see you later." So he runs out.
They just leaves him.
Yeah, and the pilot's like, "Oh, shit, he's looking down like I better get out of here." So he starts flying. And that's when Cyrus is like, "That's my fucking plane."
Yeah.
And this is where Larkin jumps into a crane and just randomly pulls a lever. Is like, there we go.
They're in the most rundown like boneyard in the middle of nowhere.
It's nothing
but
but
yet
wrecked
everything
vehicles.
works. Everything
crane-
is fine.
The crane's been running for days.
Yeah, it's oiled up, lubed up, ready to go for sure.
Well, there's an old dude that lives there because he's like, oh, it's easy for you to say. You don't have to take a piss.
Oh yeah, when he's
Stay
on the
here,
truck,
old timer. I missed that. We're watching it tonight, but I still remember. I was
That's
like,
so
oh, yeah,
funny
the
because I
old guy.
remember us missing it because I thought that was funny.
You
So
don't have to take a piss.
the plane crashes, and my favorite thing happens that I said, when we started the movie, and offhandedly, I was just like, sayonara, like just
Sayonara.
randomly.
I didn't put it together until we got to that point. You're like, this is my favorite part.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
yeah.
that's right.
Is that the stupidest joke ever? This describes the comedy style of this movie. Is that the plane crashes and there's gas. It crashes into a gas station, so there's gas everywhere. And the Colombian guy that tried to double cross Cyrus gets out of the plane. And he's like, but man, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to live. But Cy, and like going to say Cyrus, and Cyrus has the time to go Anola, and then throws a cigarette into the gas and it blows up. I was like, man, what? That's just such an insane thing that some guy wrote thinking it was the best action line of ever.
Sayonara. And like I was telling you, the cigarette into the gas doesn't work.
That's insane, too. Is that a childhood story, or do you just know that?
Well,
from,
I knew that from.
Mythbusters?
So this is hilarious. So in junior high school, like grade 8, we had to make videos. I can't remember what the fucking class was. We had to make a video.
This story is already not as cool as I thought it was going to be. You setting something
Well,
up for- okay, here we
hang
go.
on. So this guy Justin Hockley
Okay.
and a couple
Shout
buddies. Shout out Justin.
Not a
Hockley, what's
sponsor.
up? No, I don't know what he does now. Maybe he can give us some money. Give us some money, Justin. So he made this video, and it was like there's supposed to be a car crash, and then like they used a Hot Wheels car, and like all of a sudden you see like a match hit this trail of fuel, and all you hear is whoa! It's like Justin's dad, because he did the thing for him, but it was like it went off way bigger than he thought it was. Like he almost burnt a couple of kids doing this.
Whoa.
And they were saying like, yeah, my dad was trying to flick his cigarette into it like the movies, but it never worked. So he just like eventually put more gas down on the ground and threw a match on it. I remember my dad doing that to me once, man, because I grew up on a farm. We used to burn deadfall all the time.
Yeah, classic.
I'm like 13. My dad's like, okay, we're going to start this with gas. Are you ready? So dump gas all in front. He goes, make a little trail and then, get about that far away and light a match and throw it on there. I was way too fucking close.
Yeah.
Like the flames almost hit my arm.
I
was
feel
just
like if you use diesel, that's what you're supposed to use, right? Because it's not as explosive.
Yeah, we never had diesel on the farm though. We had everything was gas, lawnmowers, gas, whatever, quad and shit, and we never had diesel. So yeah, gasoline.
Your dad almost blew you up. is what you're saying.
pretty much, yeah. Thanks, Dad.
My dad would lecture us all day about using diesel, making sure. I don't know if that's actual fact, but I think that's true.
Diesel it doesn't explode.
Yeah.
Like the fumes aren't super explosive. It burns slower but it burns longer.
And that's how you know I didn't go up on a farm, because anybody who grew up on a farm was like, "Fuck it, use gas."
use gas. So at this point, they've said pig 5 times in this movie. I
At
keep
least.
track. Yeah, I kept track. I heard 5 distinct pigs. And all right, so the DEA shows up. Oh, this is after they've. So in their 10 to 12 minutes, they have built a small diorama of the junkyard, the boneyard that they're in. Yeah. This is the boneyard. Yeah. Here are the vehicles coming in.
Yeah.
But
here's all the garbage, big sea cans and stacks of stuff, and they're all like coordinated Coke cans that they had to go find them. There's no way they just found them in a pile.
And 4 Coke cans, like there's no 7-Up, there's no
it's
Bard's
all
root
Coke
beer,
cans,
all Coke cans. I'm like, Yeah. So some guy was like, man, I've only found 3. He said 4. I don't want to go back without the 4th. Yeah. He'll kill me. But they do this whole, and he's like, what's that? Like, that's a rock.
Yeah.
Pulls a rock away. I'm like, well, fuck you, dick.
Yeah,
You're
dude.
making a fucking replica of where we are.
Go out and find 5 Coke cans. I need exactly 5. I need toy cars, but if anybody fucking brings a rock, I swear to God.
I got 4 cans and a rock. Does that work?
Fuck you and your rock.
But they do the whole, this is the plan. Then they have enough time to go over the plan to set up all the, what seemed like full tanks of propane. Just
it's America
so much
for
propane. Sure. I'd use this barbecue once. Get rid of the propane.
That's how you get the best steaks. It's just 1 propane.
Fresh can of propane every time.
For sure.
A tank, not cans, whatever.
Can of propane.
So they have a firefight here. This is where I was like, oh, they had grenade launchers. I didn't actually know.
And they did.
And they
guns.
They eventually fly away, but like they've realized, oh, Poe's tied the plane to a post.
Yeah.
He's got the syringe because he escaped the explosion, the sayonara explosion.
So he gives the thing to his
buddy,
the insulin.
And like he gets on the plane. So this is weird. All at the same time, he's getting on the plane Johnny 23 is trying to rape that prison guard.
Yeah, just a small detail that we missed.
Yes. Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And
We'll anti Johnny 23 on this podcast.
oh, he's a piece of garbage. He's a piece of human garbage. But so this is all going on. There's other people on the plane, but we don't see anybody around Johnny 23 and this girl. Like, how big is this plane? It didn't seem that big. Like, I figured it's just like one long tube. Like, you could see from the back to the front. Like, oh, there's the front door.
But they just convicts kept popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it seemed like this was like a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom plane thing. Yeah. Like, well, they got 4. Like, this is where you can sleep. This is the executive suite.
This is our cage section. It's lovely to be able to have breakfast there every morning.
We have a seat area in front of the cages, but we have a view of the cockpit.
A very easily breakable into cockpit, but it's nice around this side of town.
Here's the wall of switch controls for all of the inmates.
Yeah, one key fits all, so that's always nice.
We don't need to cage that because they're caged already. They can't escape. What are they going to do? Put pins in their hands? Pick their locks like that?
Start fires? It'll be crazy.
Where are they going to get the gasoline and matches? What are they going to swallow it like they swallow drugs?
That's pretty much how they explain it in the movie. There's so much exposition that they were just like...
Man, watching it as a child, as a young teenager, I'm just like, man, this movie's so great. Watching it as an adult, just going like, wow.
How stupid do you think I am?
Why do you keep repeating yourself? We get it.
So they don't
telling us what's happening.
So they at this time, we didn't fully realize is that Pinball's put the transponder on an airplane that's like doing a tow. So the DEA agent's like, I'm gonna go get him. Gets in a helicopter and flies away, and it's like chasing down this tourist plane with thinking it's the CIA. The jailboat, the escapee.
The escapee.
And he's going along, and like they come up and they're like, whoa, like 5 minutes away, get ready to shoot him, and then they don't shoot that one down, but. As they finally get to the jailboat at this time after they've taken off from Lono, because again we're jumping around a bunch.
Oh yeah, they've got choppers now. They've scrambled the jets. They scrambled the choppers.
Yeah, if you would, which seems like the first thing you should do.
Scramble the jets.
But anyways, and they get there and they shoot a couple engines. So now we're going down in the movie, and like we said. They figure out, as they've like starting to go down, they figure out that Cyrus thinks he's figured out that Poe's doing all this nefarious hero bullshit.
Make a move and the bunny gets it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he shoots somebody. I'm not gonna, no spoilers here, but somebody may or may not die. We never knew the whole time.
Oh, that's right.
We never really figured it out if he died or didn't.
Bubba Gump. He's dead.
He's not dead. He'll live. Oh no, he's dying.
Wait, he's in an ambulance at the end. I swear, I remember. Yeah. Fuck this. This movie was so good.
Yeah, dude, it's good.
Don't fire. Don't fire. This is Cameron Poe. Yeah. Like stop shooting at the fucking plane. He's innocent.
Yeah, it's my plane. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. My plane is in the chopper. He's all sweaty. He's like, that's my plane. To another guy in a chopper who's never gonna hear him.
But he's just like, yeah, fuck that plane up.
Yeah.
Just getting his fucking rocks off shooting these inmates. Yeah. Like that's the thing too. He's just like, fuck these motherfuckers. Shoot them down. Yeah. Kill them. They're pieces of shit. I'm like, you're a piece of trash.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure they've murdered people.
Besides Johnny 23 we've talked about, he's my villain of this movie.
Yes.
Is the DEA agent.
Yes, he's a piece of fuck. I don't have to say it so much. He's just an idiot.
Yeah.
So they have to land the plane on the Sunset Strip
of Las Vegas. Because how could this movie spend more insane money for no reason?
We got more budget left. Where do you want to land the plane?
Yeah.
Let's do it in Vegas.
Yeah. And so they did. It was actually when I think of the first time I watched it when I was younger, that was an insane scene. Because like to me, CGI wasn't a thing, like special effects weren't a thing, because I was a child. Mm-hmm. So I saw it, and my dad showed me this movie, and he was like, "This is a national treasure, and you're gonna watch this." And so when I watched it, I was like, "Wow, my dad's right. They crashed a plane on the Sunset Strip of Vegas."
It's funny that your dad calls it a national treasure, and then Nicolas Cage was in a movie later called National Treasure.
My dad's a weird concoction of a man. He just loves Nicolas Cage Far too much.
We did skip over one big part of their time in Lerner Airfield.
Okay. Yeah.
Garland Green goes for a walk
Oh my
and meets some like five. I don't know how old children are.
I told you, Jeff. I told you twice that this is the part of the movie that makes me so upset.
It's weird.
I tried not to talk about it.
Well, surprise, motherfucker! We're talking about this. No, but they make us think that Buscemi's character has done the most ungodly things to this young child, and stolen her doll.
Because he's this infamous criminal.
And he's singing. He's got the whole world in his hands with her.
And he's Buscemi. He looks like Buscemi.
He's doing a good Buscemi impression.
Yeah, as only Buscemi cannot do, I guess. I've took that stance, so I'll defend it.
I'd love to sing a song. He's got the whole world. Fucking doesn't even sound like anything like him at all. So they're going down in Vegas, and Buscemi is just loving it. He's got his seatbelt on.
Oh, that's one of those throwaway scenes is that as they're taking off to like. As they're like taking off, not taking off. As they're like crashing, going down, you just see Steve Buscemi as everything's like shaking around. It's like a plane crash scene, and all of a sudden Steve Buscemi's just like takes his seatbelt and like leans back, click. He's like just so chill. He's like, and as they're going down, shit's like exploding around him, and he's like, woo! Like he's so excited.
And he starts singing. He's got the whole world in his hand. And like,
my
I don't know
God.
why there's just that little bitty baby. I'm singing it for 45 minutes before the scene came out. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's so phenomenal. And so another thing this is so far back, so I don't want to go too long about it, but Cyrus sings this song on the radio. I tried to bring it up earlier, but I forgot about it. But Cyrus sings this song of they're talking to the DEA agents way, way before, and Cyrus the whole time is just making fun of them. At the end, he sings a song, and I don't want to sing it. I just want you to go and watch this movie. Because he sings about the DEA agent pissing himself. My brother will sing that to me constantly. If I start bugging him, he will just start singing that thing to me, and I hate it when he does it. He does it the same thing with the Buscemi thing as well, with the whole world in his hands. If I'm bugging him, he'll just start singing it because he knows it makes me so uncomfortable all the time.
It's an interesting way to torture somebody.
Yeah, my brother's he's loaned quite well at what bugs me.
Older brother?
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go.
No, he's well versed. He got 2.5 years head start to just bug the shit out of me, and so I've been trying to catch up ever since.
My older brother would just beat me up. I'm still scared of him. He's so tough.
Yeah, I remember one time I tried to beat up my brother, and I was like, I'm tough too, and then he beat me up, and I was like, I've never been less tough in my life.
I've tried.
So,
but at least there's going to be one point, like years down the road, when he's like on his deathbed, and I'm standing there.
I'm going to kick the shit out of him.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
I'm sorry.
He's gonna say, I'm sorry, little brother, for everything I've done. Fuck you, motherfucker. Payback's a bitch, bruh.
Anyways, they crash land in Vegas, and immediately it's the end. It's the end scene of the movie. Somebody doesn't end up dying, which is nice.
Well, Johnny 23 dies.
Oh, Johnny, that's one of my favorite scenes. We talked about this.
Because he was handcuffed by one hand
to the top.
To something above him.
Because Cameron Poe would because Jeff talked about how Johnny 23 was about to do some awful things.
Awful, unspeakable things.
And so Cameron defends her and locks it. He gets locked up. And so, but he's you just see him hanging there by his arm because he's dead. They locked him up in the cage after the air crash. And the cops, the only thing you hear is the cops go, yeah, this one's dead. And then they take him and he just walks away without his arm and his arm stays dangling there. But my thing was, what was holding him up, man?
Rigor mortis.
Yeah.
The impact didn't move him at all.
Yeah, he was just standing perfectly still. Yep, this one's dead. Takes him away without his arm. That was insane.
Well, you also suggested that maybe they just pulled his arm right off. They're like, well, this one's dead.
I didn't get it.
There we go. Pop that shoulder out there.
Yeah, we all edit in post.
I fix nothing in post.
But yeah, again, the first scene of this movie is that song.
How do
by
I
Leanne, what's her name?
Leanne Rhymes.
Leanne.
I want to know. Let's get right into it.
And then the end scene of this movie. None other.
Hold on, we're not there yet.
Oh shit!
Because they're like, man, they think this is everyone. Wait, we're missing a few inmates.
Oh my god,
Cyrus,
I missed
Diamond,
so much.
yes,
yeah.
Cyrus, Diamond Dog, and and the pilot, the crazy pilot, are climbing out from under the plane, and they jump into a fire truck. Now they could have made a flawless escape.
Yeah.
But Cyrus, for some stupid reason, decided to jump on top of the truck.
On the top, on the ladder.
Yes.
The highest outside, most possible part.
Yes. And he's like looking around like, hope nobody sees me.
And you get this great Nick Cage as he like sees his thing, and he just goes, Cyrus.
And cut to Larkin going, Grissom. Like, wow, they both said his name. Then they run to a pair of motorcycles side by side, jump on, start up and look at each other and go like, yeah, let's get this motherfucker.
Yeah. And they do end up getting him in the most insane way.
It's a ridiculous motorcycle chase. Like, Cyrus has got the fucking hose out and he's blasting fucking people off their bikes.
You see a bike fly by itself faster without a person on it into a man, and he explodes.
Into a man on the back of a truck. The motorcycle explodes instantaneously because that's what motorcycles do. Yep. No matter how soft the collision is, they explode. They're actually made to explode.
There was probably more explosion in that motorcycle accident than there was in the plane crash that happened moments before.
Yeah. Like, I love it. I love it when stuff in movies blows up instantly, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the National Lampoon loaded weapon, one cigarette butt explosions. I love it.
Well, if it fizzles out, that's not cool at all.
So he gets speared through the leg with a broken, I don't even know what that was. Oh, wait, it was some sort of, they use it for poking roofs and shit when you're firefighters.
He gets speared in the leg, but instead of like falling down or crying or doing something normal people would do, he platoons it in the middle of the fucking like parkway. He throws his arms up and he's like, ah! It's insane.
There he is.
Yeah. And then he fights as well. Like, it's like, if you get stabbed through the leg, you're not walking away.
Punches fucking Nicolas Cage in his wounded arm because he got shot and walked through a bullet like
But Cyrus didn't know he got shot. That's what I love about it. He just saw the wound and was like, I'll punch that.
Yeah.
Bitch move, for sure.
Piece of shit. So anyway, he gets flung through. He gets locked, handcuffed to the ladder, brought up on the ladder, flies through a walkway, two different windows, through power lines onto a conveyor belt.
You see a dramatic power line, slow motion fall through where he gets shocked to death. You think.
Yeah, lands on a conveyor belt, which takes him into some unmonitored...
In the middle of the strip in Las Vegas, he falls into this construction zone conveyor belt.
Where no workers are present.
Nope.
And then gets his head crushed by a pile driver.
A rock-crushing pile driver, for sure.
Well, I guess it was crushing rocks. That's right. I don't even know. But it was fucking sick.
Nah, it'd be cooler if he got Undertakered, for sure. Just
So it, so he dies. Now we cue the song. I even wrote cue the song, exclamation points. This is when Leanne Rimes comes back.
Yeah.
And he gets reunited with his wife. He's like, hey, hummingbird.
Yeah, he gives his daughter that creepy-ass bunny now.
I got you a bunny.
Yeah.
And the look on the kid's face when she finally it's like, this is your daddy.
Yeah.
You haven't seen him in a while. It's like, your hair's longer. And then he's like, I love you. And like, if the kid just looks freaked out, it's like, oh, I better hug him anyway.
Yeah.
And then,
and you could see that they spent all the money on Nick and Malkovich and Cusack, and then we're like, get a random kid off the street.
Yeah. I was like, what are my lines?
Yeah.
Just say nothing.
I've got my dad's coming home on July 14th.
My daddy's coming home July 14th. My birthday is July 14th.
And then his best credits ever. Because this is totally random.
Starts with the bad guy immediately.
Yeah.
Picture, and it's like 80s. It's like 80s. Maybe it's 90s, but it feels like to me like a Breakfast Club ending. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Where it goes, and then it's a picture of the dude. It's the DEA agent, and it's got his actor's name and the name under it.
Hey, 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 hey! Ooh, don't you forget about. So we're at the end. That was the end.
Don't you forget about Blair.
Don't you? I love singing that by myself.
Yeah.
Just, don't you? Just make it dramatic.
Yeah. Just singing to yourself. Don't forget about me, myself.
Forget about me.
That's when you do too much acid, for sure.
Oh, yep. Been there before. Who am I? Yeah. Where am I? Okay, so, that concludes that. Now we have to, I would recommend this movie to other people.
Me too.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's super
So
fun.
would my dad. I told him that I was going on this podcast to talk about bad movies, and I said Con Air, and I think he almost wanted to set me up for adoption.
It's a great movie. Well, my friend Blake, same thing. I'm like, we're watching Con Air tonight, and he goes, that's a great movie. I'm like, I know it is, but it's ridiculous. He's like,
insane.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So we got to rate this now.
Oh, I already know.
Oh, okay, do it up.
I'm going. All right. Easily 6.5 bunnies outside of the box. out of 15 bunnies in the box for sure. I knew you were gonna do that. That's why I wanted to go first.
Box
Yeah.
bunnies. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give this movie 8.
Maybe high. I don't know. This is a roller coaster.
8 jailbirds.
Nice.
Out of 15 prison break seasons.
Okay. Nice. That's good. That's good.
Couldn't think. Damn it, Michael Schofield. 8.
Nice. Yep.
8 jailbirds out of 15 Michael Schofields.
Yeah,
That's
there
what
you
I
go.
wanted.
There you
That's
go.
what I rate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Jayden, this was a fucking blast, man. Where can first of all, thank you for coming down and doing this.
Thanks for having me. It
This
was
was
a great
awesome.
time,
I'm
yeah.
so glad you finally made it down. Or I finally reunited with you.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
you came down. How can people find you? What do you got coming up in the next few weeks or whenever? What do you want people to know about you?
Like I said, I think you can find me on Instagram, I think, as JVIC_ESQ. I post shit about comedy, but I also post shit that I think is funny or stuff that I'm doing. If you ever see me on Victoria shows, come up to me. I like talking. I'm down here more often, so I'll be doing shows down here. If you're in Nanaimo, you can catch me every second week at the Corner Lounge, Comedy at the Corner open mic. I'm usually there, slinging my hee-haws for me buying beer. So if you want to come and make my life easier, that'd be great. And catch me around town, out on these streets, if you would.
Out on these streets.
Yeah.
I can't remember the next line of that song. Dude, that was so much fun.
Yeah, man.
Let's call it there. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye. Real guy.